Wow. Hello. Welcome to Worcester Council Theater 3000, everybody, for another week. Hello, Brendan,
Hey,
Travis, how are we?
I'm actually really sad.
Oh, no. What's wrong?
Yeah. Springfield just announced that they're getting a train to Manhattan out of Springfield. And meanwhile, we're losing a $45 flight to Manhattan in Worcester. And I don't know. It's one of those things that I feel like we do need to start firebombing the city unannounced. Just call it a day.
Well, Brendan said it. Let's do it, everybody. As Brendan Melican.
Firebomb the city.
It must make sense if Brendan says it.
I don't know. It just bums me out.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think Worcester Airport needs to expand. I love Worcester Airport. I love how close it is. It's so I
can literally
easy.
walk there.
Hey, did I ever tell you guys about the time? You know how they do the World War II air show up there every year? One time I just walked out on the tarmac and no one stopped me.
There is no security at Worcester Airport. That melted chocolate figurine they have of Johnny Appleseed in the lobby is literally the closest thing that comes to security. Yeah, man, it just bums me out. I don't know.
It's it's just another data point in our long-standing thesis that this city lacks imagination and any will to do anything that would be helpful for its citizens or put it in a position to be influential or powerful in the region. So,
and to be clear, I'm not knocking Springfield for getting a train in New York. Awesome for Springfield, but it's also an outmoded form of transportation that moves as fast as a stagecoach in the United States. We actually had airplanes going to JFK 30 minutes, $45, and nobody used them.
Well, airplanes, especially that short of a flight, it's very polluting to the atmosphere. Maybe Worcester's just trying to be green,
It's a green city.
Dude, let's get light rail. Let's get that European light rail. I want to be able to get to DC in like a sneeze.
Right. Yeah. We need
and we'll just destroy a whole bunch of houses and stuff. It'll be cool.
I've been working on this teleporter system that seems to have no drawbacks, and I definitely won't turn me into a weird fly creature. So I think we'll just use that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, too, is I think the part that really bums me out is I'm pretty sure you could convince the city of Worcester to defund the Worcester Public Schools completely in exchange for a monorail to Cape Cod.
For sure.
And,
big time.
Yeah, but not New York.
Once we don't have schools, we need a place for the teachers to go to their summer homes and stay there. So that's the monorail will help them get out of town. Which the Worcester, I will say, Worcester seems intent on running all public school teachers out of the city. It's a good time. We live in a cool time in Worcester. What else? What's on the agenda tonight? We have a lot of name change petitions.
Epic really wants us to look at parks. 10B.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that's Mo Bergman's item about a moratorium on creating new parks until the parks we have are good? Well, hey, pal, it's going to be impossible to do that because you guys don't fund anything. So,
right.
Hire people at the DPW.
Pretty bold to come out and be anti-parks.
Anti-park.
Well, it's classic Mo Bergman, though. He's not anti-park. He's pro the parks we already have. So
yeah, fair.
It's a really good way to, both sides.
Spin it. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that we're going to hear about the constable issue, about how it doesn't matter if Worcester has a say.
Right.
He was actually, speaking of Bergman, turns out he was right about that.
Right. Classic Michael Trainer situation.
Yeah, that is wild too. And I mean, what a shitty interpretation. You would think that the cities, most times that I've hired a lawyer, it's because I've done something really fucking dumb and I need somebody smarter than me to run interference. Right. So like we can come up with a plan to get out of the dumb shit that I got myself into. Worcester hired a lawyer just to say, look, we're really dumb, so we need to dumb it down a little bit more and roll with it.
Yeah. We're powerless and we should give up what little power we do have. Yeah.
We like getting sued, and we need somebody to help us get sued.
We need a walking lawsuit.
In a really cramped office.
Okay. Is that to slander? I don't know. For humor, the city's lawyer is a fucking dumbass.
So I got to meet Yenni 965 in real life over at the White Room the other night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they stopped by my art table. I got to listen to some poetry. They weren't speaking any poetry, but they were just enjoying the night. Nice to see them in person.
You should speak from your heart. You should do poetry. I think that's what we all agree on. I think that's what we're saying here tonight. Yenni, do poetry.
If you could just make all the comments in haiku, that would be entertaining for all of us.
Yeah, or at least limericks.
That's an open challenge for everybody. Anybody that can comment in haiku for the entire night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll auction off a shirt or buy a free shirt off our store.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Buy a shirt. By all means, please buy a shirt. wct3k.storeenvy.com. All our best designs are up there. You can get them. Our brand new Hazard Club shirt, celebrating Idella Hazard. Our what do we want to call her? The patron deity of this show. I think it thematically makes sense. Heart always in the right place. Facts not really totally always there. Speaking up every damn second. So she's the avatar of this show.
Because he's not here, I'm going to steal the thunder and show you what Bill had me make today that he's going to order a bunch of.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Oh,
hold on. So yeah, this is what Bill had me make. It's a bumper sticker he wants to make.
I'd put that on my car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. And shout out Seguro Sally. They bought a print off my website.
Oh, nice.
I'm really curious how that shows up because I just put that in the mail. So when you get that, send me a message on Instagram and let me know how that turned out.
Thank you for acknowledging us over here, Just Nobody. Those of us who live over in the Gobi Desert, that we are now officially without any meaningful representation.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't need a fucking senator.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like we can sneak in a Tatnick resident to represent that whole weird district. I think that could end up working out okay. We get more representation, like an outsized representation for Tatnick that to the detriment of the rest of the district. That could be an angle on that, right? It's saguaro. I believe it's saguaro, Sally. Saguaro cactus. And they know their stuff on things out in the wild, signs, etc. A great Instagram follow.
Oh shit. They were commenting in haikus.
I didn't see. We're morons. We told you to do it, and you did it, and we didn't even catch it because
I don't know what a haiku is.
So I knew your name is Sarah. I don't ever want to like dox anybody in here.
We never dox. The amount of people who we call by their screen name that we know who it is. It's just people are wild out in these streets. You wanna go nuts on a comment section and not have it be under your real name, then that's not our business,
Right, Bo Mergman?
Faux Bergman is my favorite version of that.
Faux Bergman is really good.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one left that doesn't actually know who it is.
No, we're keeping it a secret from you.
I don't know who it is, Travis.
All right, good.
Okay. No, I mean I'm down. I'm down to play
the best part is you guys both absolutely know them.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
After I spent like 3 years being accused of being Turtle Boy before anyone knew who Aiden was, I gave up on like getting nosy on people's screen names, right? Because eventually it comes back to haunt you.
Yeah.
with when the I peel oranges very well, when that all thing was going off,
Right.
people accused us of being them.
Yeah. Well, it's fun, It's fun.
It's a weird city that we live in.
It's so fucking weird. The amount of
dumb.
mystery people we have floating around in the city is that everyone gets really excited about. I can't wait for the next one. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, stop sign Steve. Nobody knows who stop sign
Wait,
Steve is.
You follow Stop Sign Steve?
Dude, I can you figure out who it is? I think it's my brother. See, this is on the early days of Turtle Boy. You couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Like it was a very different tone, and there was a lot of people that were thinking that even the overtures or the dog whistles were ironic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of accusations being thrown around at normal people.
And initially, it was the part that I was offended by. He wasn't even doing politics stuff or like attacking people. He was just doing a lot of like bro humor, like
Right.
early Barstool sports type stuff.
Oh.
And it was hey Lanny. It was just a lot of just kind of like gross shit. The problem was that like I ran a blog in Worcester for years. Like, I mean, it was started like 20 years ago now. And there weren't a lot of people doing it. So like when it popped up, people just assumed, well, like there's only one person that has a blog in this city of 250,000 people, must be him. Like, no, not even close. But thanks.
Yeah. Aiden Kearney is a true psychopath.
Yes.
He's either extremely mentally ill, in which case he deserves all the help that he can get, or he's an awful person. Could be both, but
right.
Either way, not somebody you want to be around. Not somebody you want constantly sending you Facebook messages and calling you through Facebook Messenger or Instagram, trying to get you to come on their radio show. And then you keep being like, yeah, of course I'll come on. Yeah, give me a call. And then just ignoring the call every time.
That's incredible.
Man. Yep. Don't Google video search him just in case. Don't Reddit search him either.
Not at work.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna find. But yeah,
what bugs me is like I found him through like completely altruistic things. So like he was posting about the Oxford dog breeder, the puppy mill.
Okay.
And he was like going deep dive into exposing them and getting them shut down by the state and stuff. And so like there was a lot of people in the pet world that were very like getting involved with him because of all of that. And we didn't see the rest of the stuff because we were so tunnel vision on the puppy mill. So like whenever we started talking about him as being horrible, oof. I was completely blindsided. I was like, what? He seems like such a decent guy. And then I actually learned about him and I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Guys, there's a family art event coming called Whole Kids. WHOLE Kids. It doesn't feel right.
Too easy to modify. I don't like that.
Like, come on. Who thought that was a good idea? Anyway.
That's a bad idea. Yeah. I bet you Aiden will be there. Anyway, are they up yet? No stream yet. They're taking their fucking time every week.
Well, yeah, because they're in their budget hearing.
Still?
Right.
So it might just be on Zoom. They could be.
Are we getting another one of those? Not actually getting to the meeting. There's two. It's a joint agenda tonight too. So there's probably going to be a lot of talk tonight already. So that sucks. Get to it.
Yeah, and I'm already frustrated because I've just spent since 3:30 tweaking a bridal shower invitation with my mother for my sister's bridal shower. I'm
Congrats to her.
ready to Strangle my mother.
Oh, gee, I didn't
Throwing
upload it.
all my graphic design knowledge
Oh my god.
out the
Oh my
window.
god.
You know, don't even
Guys.
worry about the classes of graphic design that I've taken and all of the best practices for how to word invitations.
Don't know why this is a thing, but
Oh,
we're
this is so
watching them
awesome.
eat.
This is great.
This is on the city website right now.
Can
What
we
are we
just
having?
make sure we're grabbing all these clips?
Yeah. This is all staying in. I wonder what they're having. Let's throw some guesses out in the chat. What do we think they're eating?
I see chicken wings
Is there a
or
audio?
chicken tenders.
Is there any audio? No.
No.
Smart.
We don't need to mukbang this.
Yeah, it's not Volturno. That's not Volturno, right? Were they going to Volturno and getting fork food? I don't think so. Can't do that.
Of all the nights for Bill to be missing is when George is sitting here with a giant plate of food.
Literally, probably eating sausage and peppers.
With a shovel.
It just looks like chicken tenders and fries.
Tendies, baby.
Oh, for a second I thought that was Petty, and then I realized it was Mo.
Yeah. The park murderer himself.
It does kind of look like Petty at times, though.
They're not dissimilar looking. Speaking of graphic design, though, I want to show you guys the poster I made today for.
Oh hell yeah!
There you got a big event coming up on June 10th. A full day of events, really, at Ralph's. The Top Dog Titan hot dog eating contest for the Worcester Hot Dog Safari is starting at 1 p.m. and there's a wrestling show immediately after. And then later that night is a big punk show. It's gonna be really cool. So June 10th, everybody come on down. Top Dog's free to come to.
That
Support.
looks awesome, Brian. That looks really, really good.
I'm pretty psyched on how it came out. It's like an intense amount of drawing, but I'm happy.
Oh no, did I break it?
I pulled it down. The stream is gone. Oh no.
Hold on. No, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, those definitely look like tendies.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Can we
I need to use a specific name for them.
Computer, can we enhance? Can we get our CSI
Oh, fuck me.
having the AI is having a little issue.
No, it's not letting me zoom in for some reason.
See, they've got
Well,
special
King got there.
a little cozy relationship between Shaun and Mo Bergman here. Like,
Yeah,
hey, can you believe we're both not going to be city councilors next year? That's so crazy to think about.
I feel like Mo is aggressively manspreading at Shaun right now.
Oh yeah,
Like
no, that's a
getting
lot
ready
of
to-
pelvic thrust.
We're gonna start doing a little bit of suit scissoring here in a second. It's just very awkward.
Who's the guy sitting by himself?
That's the one of the commissioners, right? What's that? I recognize him.
He just heard there was free food.
Yeah.
Came up from purchasing.
Yeah.
Epic asked parking on Bancroft Tower Hill Road.
No, what number is that on the agenda? That is shocking. That is
very shocking.
wild.
That's awesome, Johanna.
Yeah, great. Yeah. 7.
I just told that we're watching them eat.
I sent picture to Shaun. I sent him a picture being like, "Hey, what's for dinner?"
Tell
Why
them
is
to
this
turn
on
around
the
and
city?
wave at the camera. Please tell 2 that they should turn around and wave at the camera over their right shoulder.
Throw food at Mo.
If they can just give a real casual.
Yeah. Wow. That's really funny. The rich get richer, huh? There's two.
Oh,
Hi. We're never far.
this is awesome.
Say hi to all your fans.
Oh,
Oh.
King just brought it up on his phone, I think.
No, he's watching
Oh
baseball.
no, he's watching
Yeah.
something else.
He's watching YouTube TV.
It's meatballs and pasta.
Uh-huh.
We
From
were very
where?
wrong.
He
still hungry.
conceivably still could have sausage and peppers.
He brought his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a plastic bag in his pocket.
Yeah, Eric, a very interesting one. I wonder how he's going to, I mean, I know exactly how he's going to justify it. He's going to say exactly that. Well, we have all these great parks and beautiful parks in the city, and some of them are very well maintained. And you go down there and there's trash and kids can't play there. And we need to do better about making sure that we're doing that. All while knowing that it's not actually going to happen. So we just prevent more space from being taken out of the possibility of being developed by greedy developers that I deal with all the time. So that'll be about his 10 minutes there, and then we'll see how quickly it passes. Nico sighting. We got a
There he
Nico
is in the
sighting.
wild.
We have a wild Nico sighting. He just pointed at the camera. He knows we're here.
He's
Mhm.
only going to
Yeah,
be talking about
do
parks
let
in
them know.
reference to Elm Park, though. That's the trick.
Right. Exactly.
You the interview, yes, I heard it.
Tell us.
It was nothingness.
Hi, Christian.
It was 5 minutes of nothingness of him going like, well, we shouldn't have tents in people's yards because it's a safety issue and we need a permanent solution. And he just kept saying, we need a permanent solution. And
Oh,
all I'm
God.
thinking is like, oh God, seriously, why are
Yeah.
you using that wording?
At least he didn't change one of those words. That could have been more inflammatory.
Yeah, it's still dog whistling though.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
I assumed it was on
decided. Yeah, it's on Talk of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, of course.
But and then he's like, well, I need to focus on what my constituents, what the people of my district really want, which is potholes.
They want more potholes.
Yeah.
They want to fix potholes. And I'm just like, do you understand that we have a backlog of all of this that's like $30 million as of 2019 money?
Right.
I feel like he might have
realize that it's
misheard
going to
that,
take
though.
us like 15 years to catch up, if
Yenni,
that.
I think he might have misheard it, and he's pro potholes, and his whole stance, he's just going to go around punching the street. He's a boxer. A hammer only knows to strike.
Yeah. He's looking for a nail.
This is absurd. I don't know why
it's from Leo's on Shrewsbury Street.
All right. Leo's Restaurante, pretty good. My buddy lived in the apartment above Leo's for like a couple of years. That was really cool. It just smelled like garlic bread all the time. It was awesome.
That would kill me. That would absolutely destroy me. I would be like 30,000 pounds. I would cut a hole through the floor just so they could like wheel up more snacks for me, so I wouldn't have to leave.
I feel like that's the perfect amount of Leo's is smelling
I've never had it.
It's fine.
Oh, that was
There was
That's
just
fine.
asking if we could hear them, so I told them no, unless there's audio I'm missing.
No, there's
No,
not.
you can't.
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
just so strange.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He is buddy
Oh, there's my
with
counselor.
Wayne.
Oh, there.
There, you found us. Hi, Two. That's my counselor right there. Hi, it's Al. This is absurd.
Whoa, is Mo frozen?
He's
Look at him.
just stun locked.
He's yeah. Oh, okay, all right, he's okay now. Yeah, they're cool.
They get it.
They get it. That's what it is. They get it.
So is there anything interesting other than Eric's comment
No,
earlier
I mean,
about his item?
so the renaming things are minorly interesting, I think. Just because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But and that when things are grouped like that, there's usually a reason, and I'm not exactly sure what that is.
They
right
cut
now.
it.
They came out of committee.
Oh, okay.
The groupings is 'cause it came out of committee.
But so, right. Okay, that makes sense then.
What office at City Hall is that?
I don't know. It's just so funny. And it's better than the other one, which
It's
is
not.
just
It's just some
it's the
random
lady reading the
conference room
paper.
at Newark Airport.
Just shout out to Beck
Yeah.
for putting that up for as long as they did. We love that for us.
I really hope that was like something for us to find, and that we just won the game.
Yes, I think so. I need to believe so. Yeah, first female mayor of the city, I believe is
Mhm.
the. I want to change the name of Indian Hill Park. So, yeah, I mean, minorly interesting.
Change the name of what?
Was it which park was it? Indian Hill? I think that's what it was. I can't find which number it was.
Yeah.
Well,
Indian
I
Hill
can
Park.
understand getting rid of the name Indian Hill, but
That's exactly. I don't know if that's why Shaun wants to do it, but the effect is good.
The list is Indian
Right?
Hill to Sarah Robertson Park. It's Irving Street between Austin and Pleasant, Dr. McNeil. Main Street between Highland and School to Judge Perez Way. And then a citizen petition to make a Plantation Terrace, John the Barber Way.
I thought it
we
was
can name
John the
everything.
Baptist.
No, John the Barber. We're going after wrestlers. And then
that was probably autocorrect.
Speaking of this is just a little aside if anybody didn't know, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, famous 1980s wrestler, only stayed around in wrestling for so long because he's Hulk Hogan's best friend. He was after 9/11 he was working as a token collector at the MBTA. So he worked at Park Street Station on the Green Line in Boston, and he set off a citywide emergency because somebody thought they found anthrax in the train station, and it turns out it was his bag of cocaine. So Brother Brudai, classic. Yeah. I don't know if I was trying to find if anybody else in the comments has any other items that they saw that maybe jumps out at you.
The ADA sidewalk audit. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
That's item 9R. Request city manager request the commissioner of transportation and mobility to conduct a ADA audit of crosswalks, sidewalks, and streets. Further request city manager provide city council with a report detailing the cost analysis to implement recommendations from said ADA audit.
All right. Huh. I wonder what type of how the amount of discussion that'll get, or if it'll just be passed over mostly.
And 9U request city manager request Raleigh to create a synchronized traffic light pilot program. That's something that I've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
And Raleigh is totally on board, and I've already communicated with him multiple times on it. He's already in the works. So thanks, Mo, for putting in something that's already in the works.
Yeah.
Obviously did not talk to Raleigh about it.
No, of course not. Main South Mom, this is a great point. Very much purposely worded that way, of course.
The hell is Mpox?
It's like
Monkeypox.
no, it's a standardized test that you have to pass if you want to go through high school in Massachusetts.
Library school. I've turned off the audio journal because she's pretty shrill. So
Interesting. Wow.
I still haven't heard back from them. I
Like,
applied to Audio Journal to read for them, and they never got back to me.
they're missing out.
Their loss.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Do you want to
Terrible.
try just reading some stuff in general so we can hear your?
No, I'm terrible at reading.
Oh,
Barely
It's
literate.
did you say that on the message?
No.
Hi, this is Brendan. I am illiterate.
Brendan, your son graduated from high school this weekend.
He did.
Whoa.
So exciting.
Congrats,
It is exciting.
Oliver.
Have you removed him from the home yet, or?
No, we gave him till fall.
Okay, good.
Yep.
That's very classy of you. Probably too
Yeah.
nice, but
None of this helicopter parenting bullshit.
Are you
Not
going to
living
push
in my
him
basement
out of
till
the
you're 20.
second floor?
No, I think he's going to leave voluntarily. Yeah, we've
Wait,
had
isn't-
one. We've had one rule since the start of high school, and that's we'll support you in whatever you want to do, regardless of what it is. You're just not doing it in Worcester.
yes, I
And
think
he agreed with that.
It's very good, very smart.
You can always come back, just
Yeah.
not now.
Yeah.
You will come back. You can't avoid but to come back.
Yeah.
The city beckons, like a dark siren. Yeah.
I think that's really smart of you and Iris to set that precedent, though, because
yeah.
you got to get out of your hometown.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's much smarter than the way that my dad did it, which was by antagonizing each one of us until we never wanted to be within 100 miles of him for a long time.
Hey, strategy worked. I mean,
It worked. Yeah. Yeah, all four of your sons moved across the country, and two of them have never come back.
Yeah, really. Fuck, Bobby's still down. Yeah.
I purposefully went in a distance that they couldn't do a day trip to see me.
Yep.
Mm.
Genius.
That was basically our
Because
rule.
my
But it
mother
was-
is a glue. She's not even helicopter. She is super glue.
Wait, isn't Oliver? Is he going to the Air Force?
No, so he'd applied to the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
Didn't make it through that process. It's
Okay, because I was going to say
not
that
totally
would have
unexpected.
that could have made you a helicopter parent, literally.
He's committed to Loyola Baltimore.
Nice.
But actually just got another offer from Texas A&M to join their Corps cadets down there that they found him
Damn.
through the Air Force Academy process. So kind of reevaluating that as well.
Yeah, dude.
Is he planning to
A&M.
stick with wrestling?
No interest in wrestling past high school. Yeah, he's come back to training jiu-jitsu, and we're probably going to stick with that.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
A lot of injuries over 4 years of wrestling. Doesn't want to keep that up.
I could see that. I was watching some video of some, I don't know, wise ass dude who would like slam people. He was ridiculous. I didn't know you can get away with half the shit this kid was doing in like high school wrestling.
Yeah, I mean the rule sets are they exist and they're good, but like they're really easy to skirt. I mean, you ended up with a really bad AC joint sprain from a shitty mat return that technically shouldn't have happened, but kind of falls within the rule sets. Different kind of wrestling, Brian. Sorry to.
I was going to say, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Wrestling is fake.
Yeah, there's no wrestling. There's no razor blades. What the hell's wrong with you people?
Yeah. How
Oliver
many
got hit with
times
a
is-
chair in his last
Yeah.
meet.
Do you ever juice? Do you ever do a blade job?
Yeah. How many chairs does he use during his matches?
He's getting hit with so many. We used to practice at home, and then the neighbors called the police on me.
Well, you were giving unprotected chair shots to the head. Those are frowned upon these days.
Over in the west side of Worcester, yes, apparently there.
Did you guys?
How are they gonna learn?
I know a lot of people that like backyard wrestled, but we didn't do that. But we like would hit each other with like chairs and shovels and stuff to play wrestling.
Oh,
Yeah, I
for
mean, a little
sure.
bit. I had a couple friends that I hung out with in my early 20s down around the Lucky Dog who did a lot of backyard wrestling. And one of them, I won't mention his name because people will probably know him. I mean, he legit has like a Kevlar sling in his gut, just holding his organs in place. It's like some weird Kevlar mesh net that he has that just holds his abdomen together because
That's
of
intense.
That guy is Joe Petty.
Mayor
May
of
have heard of
Worcester.
him.
Yeah.
I because of like Hell in the Cell, I pushed my brother off second floor deck onto. I dragged a mattress. I dragged my mattress out and put a bunch of cardboard boxes, and he fell from the second floor down. He hit the mattress, thankfully.
I love that you're able to say because of Hell in the Cell. Not
It was the
not
it was the
because
one
I wanted to murder my brother.
Undertaker Mankind, Hell in a Cell 98. Yeah.
But it wasn't because you wanted to murder. It wasn't because you wanted to murder
I
your
love
brother.
my brother.
It was because of Hell in the Cell. Yeah.
They did.
He was a
It's like
great wrestling.
it's like how I burned a house down because of Beavis and Butthead. It wasn't me or the lighter. It was Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, that match is a defining moment for our generation, I think.
Yeah.
My mom had a friend who would tape the pay-per-views, and then she would let me borrow the pay-per-view tape Tuesday night into Wednesday, but I had to watch it all in that one night and then give it back because it was like a rotation of people that wanted it. So like I would go on a information strike for 2 days at school.
Sure.
And then I would have to miss Raw or whatever that Monday night was just to watch the pay-per-view.
You love it.
Anyway,
life
is hard.
You know, budding tape trader Travis Duda.
What I'm telling you people is it was hard before the internet. And now we have streams of people eating confirmed meatballs, ziti, and antipasto salad.
Yeah.
He thinks Sean Rose thinks he's going to become a meme because of cable services.
He is. Now
there's
that
plenty of other things making you a meme, buddy.
Yeah. Like your impending doom.
So
I worry about him not being in the limelight. What's going to happen?
There is another item that I've tried stirring the pot on this one. I don't know how successful I was, but I know a couple librarians, so I was working some magic here. But they're trying to get CPR training and AED training for all the librarians. And I suggested that maybe because they're unionized, that they should reach out to their union and request an extra $1,300 a year for this change in workplace responsibilities and duties.
That's genius. I love it.
Epic. They administer so much Narcan down there at the library that it's kind of an unwritten rule that if they have brand new staff, that like they won't make them do Narcan. They won't make them hit people with Narcan their first week, which like
they give them a week reprieve. Oh, how nice.
But I mean, it's like everybody's just running around. They're slapping Narcan down there probably more than Worcester EMS is at this point. And yeah, I mean, you know what? They're librarians. Like their job is actually to help you find Frog and Toad are friends. It's not to jack somebody up with Narcan in periodicals or pull out an AED because the Narcan didn't work on the guy in periodicals, or you were late to periodicals. So now we're on to the AED. They probably should see a stipend for that.
The library to have somebody that's a specialist on staff because it's a public resource, so it clearly attracts people in need of a place to go, especially in the colder months, and these people tend to have addiction issues.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's kind of indicative of like the librarians' like role in society of these days of like everyone else is content to just let these people like, you know, to leave them to their fate, and the city, the state, the federal government refuses to actually help them, and so librarians are just learning whatever skills they need to like help people.
Well, they can't speak up; they got to stay quiet. So
that's the thing, and you can't yell for help. You boot your ass out of there. So it is
weird that libraries have become this vestibule for literally anybody looking or anybody hard up.
It's the
Yeah.
only place that you are not required to spend money
Right.
to be. You can just be in a place, and that's not my idea. That's I've seen that shared many times. Is that it's the only place that you're just allowed to be a person without
Mhm.
like any expectations from you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of in a perfect place too, specifically here in Worcester.
Yeah.
Is that what was going on? I was on Twitter earlier and I saw the Spaces thing live, which hasn't happened in a while. Man, that maybe the one redeeming quality in any way of Donald Trump is that how effective he is at destroying other Republicans, just making
The
them
fact that-
into nothing.
Yeah. The fact that he was sitting there testing out nicknames to get the perfect one. He's a comedian. He's a shitty politician, but he's a halfway decent comedian.
Should have stuck with just being famous. It was really going well for him. And now he's going to go to jail for like 10 days or something.
Yeah. We can only hope. Goodness. Now, this writer's strike is really pissing me off because I get most of my news from late night comedy. So it's like I've been stuck listening to NPR and they just move so slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Not a lot of good punches.
And they just fired like half their staff. So
Right,
it's not like you're
there's
really
that
hearing that
too.
much there anymore either.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah,
Yenni.
I'm not psyched on how things are going either, but it's solidarity, baby. They're fighting the good fight.
Yeah. David Simon was on All Things Considered yesterday talking about the writer's strike. Had some really good takes, but also painted a pretty grim picture of the way things are likely to play out as well.
Yeah, somebody ran into him on a picket line. He did like a 10-minute interview a couple weeks ago. The first week of the strike, and he's obviously the guy knows how to fucking say words, but like his thoughts on the matter are just so well like worn. He just gets it, and his biggest point is that the strike right now for him and for most of the writers, even the youngish writers, like the rewards of this, if everything goes well, won't even be for them. It'll be in the long run. It'll be for other, he doesn't need to. He's not getting any better deal by having the WGA's demands met. He's on a separate deal. He's on a first look deal with HBO or whatever that's worth multi-million dollars separate from anything else. And he isn't like, as far as skin in the game, has no monetary skin in this game. Where that goes. Did Jason Reitman cross the line? Oh, what a piece of shit. I heard they were pissed. They shut down. They had to shut down Ghostbusters for a little bit, but they're shooting in London, I think. So they were really mad that they got shut down. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He's a fucking nepo baby. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to a point soon where people are gonna start turning on the strike. And I'm worried that it's going to be like the last time it was stagehands. It was the crew that turned first, and that's my union now. And I'm worried that that's what's going to happen, and the pressure is going to mount from there. But
even with SAG approaching a strike,
no, I mean that changes the dynamic a lot, and it pushes it off. But I wouldn't put it past the producers to use the 3 unions against each other, like giving one of them a good, like what they're asking for, because the directors demands are like the lowest stakes for the producers, and if they just give the directors what they want, then they can try and pressure the writers and actors into like taking, because it's basically residual hikes is all the directors want. So if they give them those, then they can try and pressure the other unions and taking a similar deal. And it doesn't really address the major issues. It helps, but it doesn't address the major issues. So Yeah, I mean everything's great right now as far as like solidarity goes, and it seems like they're winning the public, the public
Perception
battle.
more.
Yeah, but as you see, like more and more things start to have an effect. Like Last of Us season 2 is shut down for now, and around here, like there's no chance of work coming up in the next probably few months, 6 months.
Yeah. Like how long would it take to wheel back up once they made an arrangement or once they had an
Exactly.
agreement?
I mean, it would be tough. It would, and because the biggest thing is around here is like studio space. There isn't any. So you really need to plan ahead of where you're going to shoot things. And so there's some right now because nothing's shooting. But the first 3 productions will get going immediately, and then after that, it's going to be a while. But Good Burger's shooting in Providence right now, and they're 3 days into a 2-week shoot, essentially. And after that, it's going to get
The meeting starting.
Yeah,
starting
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yeah,
They're singing
yeah.
that national anthem.
Pulling all your shows off your streaming services too, so you don't have to pay anybody even the pittance that they're owed. So pretty cool.
I want to make you guys listen to this crap.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, support the strike so that the producers cancel a streaming service and state that it's because they're screwing over the writers. That's actually helpful.
Except that they'd never say it that way. Because
No.
I mean that's essentially what what Disney Hulu just did by removing the 50 shows.
Right.
Like including shows that are like critically acclaimed like Willow because they don't want to pay the residuals.
Right.
And what they did to Owl House was just a crime.
This is what's going to increasingly happen as we've obviously like production has always been wrapped up in big business, but as you get into these mega corporations and you consolidate the kind of playing field, these holding companies that run these like entertainment companies are just going to get more and more demanding.
Is Mike Sheehan here?
Oh, the mayor's not even there tonight?
You want to come up here, up in front, so we can present you with the
This is going to be painful.
proclamation.
What up, Mokro?
I don't know why the closed
I'll be
captioning
down
isn't
there in
working.
person next week.
Okay, if you want to come up here. Up around.
I'll have
and then face the
an item
audience.
on it being Ethler
We'll
Downloads Awareness
position you
Month.
here. Okay.
All right, why'd they
So
do
I
this?
want
I'm
to
gonna
show
try
up
to
in
fix.
person.
Sorry, what'd you say, Yenni?
It's Ethler Downloads Awareness Month this month. So I'm submitting a thing to the city council agenda for next week.
Nice.
COVID kind of sidelined my ability to make sure that I would be able to go in person. So
Yeah.
I'll be late coming
For
on
the recreational
if I come
boater
on
and
next week.
whereas U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 10-1 in Worcester sponsors local events to raise awareness of and promote safe boating practices, and whereas nearly 9 million Americans take to our
Voting or
waterways for
boating?
recreational
Boating.
boating each year, and whereas on the average 600
Travis,
It's kind of the
the-
Coast Guard's thing.
in boating
Yeah.
relating
How come
accidents
the
in
closed captions were working?
approximately
Yeah, I just
until you
noticed that
clicked
too.
it? You clicked it and then they
fatalities
turned
caused
off.
by drowning, and
Facebook is so stupid.
whereas a significant number of these fatalities would be alive today had they worn their life jackets, and whereas spreading the message of safe boating
Yeah, you gotta watch
practices
out.
and
He's a
promoting
protected
life jacket
species
wear, not only
as
during
the only
National
one
Safe
of his
Boat
kind.
Week, but also throughout the year has the potential to reduce
What the
terrible
heck?
loss in lives.
It's
Now,
so weird.
Therefore, I, Mayor Joseph M. Petty, do hereby proclaim May 20th.
Liar.
So funny when she forgets who she
National
is.
Vote
Stolen
Safe
valor.
Voting Week in the city of Worcester and encourage all residents to recognize and participate.
She can't
in
think
its
on the fly
observance,
well enough to
issued at
insert her
Worcester
name
on the
instead of his.
23rd day of
I don't think
May
she's
just
supposed to,
2023.
but it is still funny that she like blows through it. Because technically the declaration is still coming from him, I think, but it is very silly. And she doesn't like you just like pause for a second, you know.
Nico sighting.
There he is. Like so many bottles of water on his desk.
Our boy gets thirsty.
You know?
Sponsorships.
Just like everybody when they see Nico, they get really thirsty.
It's really that's their gifts for other people because they get so thirsty when they see him. It's like, damn.
Did we put this one up yet, Trev?
No, we should.
Put it up.
I'll put it up.
That's right. Agreed.
Whose is that?
Polar will custom label bottles of water for you. We should order a couple cases and with our logo and sponsor just Nico.
That would be awesome.
Can we do? All right, let's do one. It's
Okay, we have another proclamation.
WCT 3000 branded
National
water.
Public Works
Yeah.
And then
Week.
where like instead of water, it
Commissioner
just
Fink.
says this is piss.
So I will read the proclamation. Whereas Public Works and Parks professionals focus on infrastructure and services that are of vital importance to sustainability and resilience communities, and to the public health,
Oof.
high quality of life. And
It's
well-being
hard
of
to
the
read in
people of
public.
Worcester,
It is so
Massachusetts.
funny that
These infrastructure and services
you
would
know
not
you
be
have to.
provided without the
Like,
dedicated efforts of Public Works and Park professionals who are engineers,
Work on it.
managers, laborers, and administrative employees. These individuals are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our city streets.
You're a
water
millionaire. You're not
supplies,
doing
park,
anything else.
Urban forests and
Practice.
solid waste and recycling systems.
I think that's the
sewer,
problem with,
and
you know,
stormwater and
it's
other
Facebook's
structures
captioning
essential
AI
for our
just doesn't
citizens. And
recognize whatever
whereas
bullshit
it is
programming
of the
language
interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and
this
visitors
discount
to Worcester
robot
to gain knowledge
was
of
set up
and
with.
to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public work programs. And
All right.
whereas
While this is going enough,
the
I
year
gotta take my dogs out. I'm
2023
right back.
marks 63rd Annual National Public Works Week. which
Anyone
is
else
themed
dying of
Connecting the
allergies?
World through
Yeah.
Public Works,
Yeah, yeah,
sponsored
yeah.
by the
I
American
thought rain
Public
was
Works
supposed to help.
Association and Canadian Public
not
Works
fair.
Association. Now,
Just not
therefore,
cutting
I,
it.
Joseph M. Petty, Mayor, do hereby designate the week of May
I'm breathing almost
21st
as
to
bad as when I had
27th,
COVID.
2023 as National Public Works Week.
They're
And I
saying the
urge all
new
citizens to join the
variants
city
of COVID
of Worcester
like
Public
present
Works and
as the
Parks
symptoms of
Department,
pink
the
eye.
American Public Works
Yeah, just,
Association, and governance
just as
agencies
basically
to
seasonal
reflect
allergies,
and
runny,
pay
itchy eyes,
tribute to our public works
sniffles.
professionals, engineers, managers, laborers, and administrative employees, and to recommend.
Well, I highly
recognize
doubt I got
the
COVID
substantial
two
contributions
like
they made to
twice in the
protecting
same month.
our
So
health, safety, and quality of life.
Yeah, I was so like concerned, but then I don't have the I don't have the I don't know. It's like it was messing with my brain the other day as soon as I heard that.
it's like whoever is controlling this is like going through Plague Inc., being like, no, I want to remove that symptom and add this symptom, and
Okay,
remove that
so
symptom and
now-
add this symptom.
Next item,
It's fucking
approval of
wild.
I freaking
minutes.
love that game.
All in favor, say aye. Those opposed?
The
So be it.
CDC actually
Okay.
utilized
So
that
the
game
next
because their
item
algorithms were
is,
so good.
Public
They
participation.
utilized that
You can
game's
speak to up to
algorithms
2
and
minutes.
stuff to
Just
predict
state your
spread.
name and city
Hell
of
yeah.
residence.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Madam Acting Mayor. Tonight, so
Just say chair, you
7B
fucking
I'm
asshole.
sorry. Fred Nathan Worcester. 7B,
He's smitten.
7E, and 7F are all changes to for streets and different areas. I am in full support of all of them. I won't go into detail. I got to save time for other people. I'm sure to want to get them up in here and think.
That's
And,
understating it.
9E.
Giant.
So they're asking for a moratorium on the sweeps of the tents in the parks, in other areas.
The way he says they is so like they're
Obviously,
asking for
we
like
have
it's
a
a
problem with the homeless.
fucking
I don't-
cabal.
I think
So
someone would have to be living under a rock, and a pretty big rock at that, to say that there's not a homeless problem. But
You know, it's really
we have to
funny.
do better
So he's
not
like,
let
we all
them
know what
camp
he's
out
like. Oh, who?
in public parks and
I guess John
other
Mahoney was
areas
at
where
Beyond
if
Wrestling last
somebody's
week,
walking a dog, they
and
might
Fred
happen to
Nathan wouldn't
stumble
leave him
onto
alone.
them.
He kept like trying to talk to him and take a picture
So
with him.
keep up the sweeps and get people out of these parks and find some place to put them. I know it's going to
Where,
cost
Fred?
money, but there is no such thing as a free cup of coffee. Worcester.
Yes,
and
there
other parts of
is.
this country have
Speaking of
dealing with
which,
the homeless
Cumberland Farms is
I mean,
raising
this
their
is not
prices on
something that
coffee.
just
99
came
cents up to
along
$1.29 next month.
in the last couple of
Wow.
years. This council here, not anyone on this council currently, but they were talking about the homeless 30 years ago and the different issues. So one way or another, we're going to pay for it. The only question is where they're going to find the money. Obviously, if Polar Park pays what they're supposed to, we'll probably have some money.
Thank you. I
And
just
Polar
want to
Park
say also
isn't
too,
paying what it's supposed
Yeah,
to.
I've
under
never seen somebody
privilege,
that's so
Councilor
plugged
Nguyen
in, just
held
with
8.14
like no
B.
fucking
Is
brain.
that correct, Councilor Nguyen? Okay. All right.
They're
Somebody else want to
holding.
come up?
Idella has it, City of Worcester. I'm
There she
told
is.
Special process servers.
7E and 7F. I would also
So
like to
the
speak,
trainer issue.
Yeah.
It was in early February.
Hazard Club,
This
everybody.
city
Get
council
your Hazard Club shirts.
voted unanimously in favor of bringing prayer back to the meetings. And I don't even see benediction on the agenda. It was about 3 weeks ago that benediction disappeared from the agenda. Now, that was in early February. In March, I had a meeting with somebody here at the city council, and I'm sorry, at City Hall, and it lasted for about 45 minutes. And it got a little loud, but I was told in February that we would have prayer on April 24th because it was for the Albanians? Am I saying it right?
No.
Because it was an anniversary. So we had that. And then I called and I spoke to somebody here at City Hall, and I was told, well, maybe we will have a prayer for maybe a Greek holiday or something. That was not my understanding of having prayer at the meetings, and that's not what was voted upon.
Because we
I was
shouldn't have
talking about
prayer at public meetings.
traditionally having prayer at the meetings, and that is exactly what we had right up until last year.
Wow,
So
Idella,
I
we make a
think-
T-shirt for you, and this is how you repay us.
This is not legal because you voted on it unanimously.
It shouldn't be legal for them to have
So-
prayer.
You voted to
Isn't-
bring
yeah.
prayer back, and it wasn't just for ethnic holidays. So when are Blacks going to have prayer? Martin Luther King Day?
I feel like tonight's the night we're going to find out that Idella has
is
lived
every
strictly off a
ethnic
diet
group
of
gonna
puppies
wait
for the last 60
Yeah.
years.
That is
Trav,
not what
get ready to
we
pull that
had
shirt down.
traditionally.
Uh-oh.
And that's what was voted on. I think that we have to do this legally. What was voted on was to have the prayer
Also, because it's
traditionally,
Colorio, no
and
one's
what you
getting
need
cut
to
off
do is go back and look at the minutes
Right.
of the meeting.
Thank
or
you,
being
Adele.
told to stay on
Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank
oh,
you.
Oh, she did.
Hey, anybody else would like to?
that was very Like,
Mhm.
Chris Horton, Worcester, speaking to 814B. Attorney trainers
No
report.
worries, system nomad. The meeting literally
I'm gonna
just
keep this
started.
very
yeah,
brief.
just started. You only missed the counselors eating dinner, which we have
I'm
video
not
of
going
for
to-
Yeah,
some
we have
reason.
video.
Talk in detail about what happened after the council meeting where this issue was of unlicensed unlicensed constables in Worcester was first raised, because it really is a well, it's something that we're going to have to deal with in court, I think. But I just want to tell you that there are serious issues here about whether this city is going to be able to keep control over the people that act as police agents in this city and have them responsible to us.
Spoiler
And
alert. They
that
won't.
I would hope
Yeah.
that you all take that responsibility
Because
very
the 7 are not going to
seriously
go against
and
Trader.
not look for easy ways out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience that'd like to say anything?
Oh boy, here we go.
Good evening.
Hi, Al.
I'm just here because Alex Corrales from Worcester. I'd like to show my support for item 7F. And for those of us here in the room, I think we're very well acquainted with Judge Luis Perez, a staple, a community leader here in Worcester for many decades. I can tell you that what we know about Judge Perez is the first Latino judge.
Honorary
certainly here
name
in
for
the
Main
state,
Street
if I'm not
between Highland
mistaken.
and School
But
Street.
really, it's what he did after that that really separates and really embodies his legacy, which is this was an individual who didn't care about necessarily verdicts, but more about how to help the individuals that were in front of him, how to be part of the community to change those lives. I got to know the judge a little bit when I started my career at the Housing Authority and interacted with him through the residents that I served. But even over the last year or two, I have firsthand seen the legacy and the impact he's had in the community. I have been at events where I've had individuals come up to him, and these are former gang members or people that were in trouble during his time when he was a judge, and they're literally hugging him and thanking him because of the fact that he took a different route. He didn't just throw the keys away. He really worked with folks to help them and the families. And I've seen mothers and grandparents just really come up to him in front of me and thank him. And so as a Worcester resident for a long time, I'd be remiss if I wasn't here to show my support for the judge and not only what he has done for Worcester during his time on the bench, but even in retirement, he continues to be involved in the mentoring of other folks. And so I just wanted all of you to know that I fully support 7F, and Judge Luis Perez, I think, has earned his legacy here in Worcester. Thank you so much.
You realize
Thank
that's
you.
just a roll call vote, right, bud? You know, to
Good
send it to
evening.
committee.
Buenas noches. My name is Ruth Rodriguez
Yeah.
from Worcester. I'm
You're
here
running for
in
school committee. You
support
should know how the
of
city
one
council works.
person
Wait, he's running for
That-
school committee?
I have been
Yeah, he's running
from
unopposed.
see the work that this man has
Ooh,
done.
Yeah,
for
that's-
this
we've
city.
got
conflict.
And
the
I-
chamber
as a
running for
spiritual
school committee.
person, he is what Jesus
He's not the
says
chamber.
he is.
He's Worcester Housing
Do unto
Authority.
others
Yeah, that's
what
Alex
you want me
Guardiola.
to
That's
do
running for a
unto
school committee.
Oh.
That was
Love
Alex
your
Guardiola.
neighbor
I
as
mixed up the two.
yourself. This is what I
Yikes,
have
Actually look-
Yenni.
I don't think I've actually seen him in person before, and they
as
look kind
someone
of
that
similar.
has been in the city, and you all know this. I worked in the first Spanish Center.
Alex Guardiola's
We're
taller.
going way back. This
Alex
little
Corrales
lady,
helped us out during Powwow
And,
Worcester when
I
we worked
met-
out in Great Brook Valley.
the Perez family, back in the early 70s.
Wrong person.
And we started
My bad.
working in the city. And I just want to say something to you so you know. In 1970, the US government granted citizenship to Puerto Ricans because they had just entered Second World War. And it was for Puerto Ricans to join. And let me tell you, ever since then, percentage-wise, Puerto Rican men and women have given their lives to protect this country. And what I've seen with Luis Perez, my brother, is exactly that. He's been fighting, but he's always been there to have justice done for everybody, not just one person. So I hope that you consider honoring this man that has done so much good. We worked with Centro Las America. He was there. On Saturday, we used to be cleaning the center. Judge Perez was there and on the floor. This is what this man has done for our community. So I hope you consider giving him the honor that he deserves.
Thank you.
Adela had a funny look on her face.
Jose Perez, City of Worcester. I've also come in support of, 7F? And Judge Perez, I know him since the 60s. Grew up in Worcester, went to St. Peter's, Assumption, and went to law school, became a judge. But one of the things that everybody's got to know is that the judge is one, he always stands for justice. Doesn't care what color you are, doesn't care what race or anything you are. It's justice. That's what he stands for. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And it needs to be corrected. It needs to be done right. And that's always been the judge from inception. He doesn't care if it's something that we did and we were wrong, he tells us we're wrong. If it's something someone else has done, he tells you it's wrong and needs to be corrected. And that's what he stands on. Then his legacy, he has gone to school. It's for minorities to go to that process and get to become a judge. Not easy. It doesn't happen. In my lifetime being here, I've just seen a few people elevated to that level, the judge, the city manager, and some other people, but they're few. You can almost count them on one hand. So his legacy is well established, and it's something that we need to honor him and honor his legacy. And it's and I urge that we move forward with this.
Thank you.
Good evening, distinguished member of the City Council. My name is Juan Matos from the City of Worcester. And I would love to say congratulations to each one of you, because as I see today in the agenda, you are following one of our best writers and poets from Latin America, Jose Marti, who used to say, honrar, honra. Honoring others, you honor yourself. So congratulations, because I see and I'm proud.
It'd be very
so
funny
many
if they
people who have
took
served
a
to this wonderful
full
city
vote on it and
being
voted it down.
recognized
now.
today.
Juan
In my
Matos was our
testimony, I would
poet
love to
laureate.
say, and I have
He was
to
our
say that
previous
I've
than
been
our current one.
inspired by Judge Perez since I arrived to this city 28 years ago. Since I became a teacher at Worcester and Magnet, I found the support of Judge Perez and many other community leaders, and inspired me to serve outside the classrooms. And that's been our legacy. One particular remark is the Caradonio
Florida's
building,
poet
which
laureate just got
I
all
had
of
the
his
honor
books
to
banned in
be
Florida.
one of the teachers
Or
who
his
Sick.
book has
senior
been banned in
citizen
like all of
students.
Florida schools.
And today,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would really appreciate that you consider
Florida's a
not
bad
only
place.
Judge Perez, but every
The
single
truckers are boycotting it.
Really?
citizen of this,
Yeah, there was-
there's also
great city to
there was also a thing that
remark
there's
their
the
legacy.
senator
Thank
just
you
put
so
out
very much, Judge Perez,
telling
for everything
people
you have
that
done for all of us.
the
Thank you.
oh, what is it? Where is it?
Thank you.
So there's a whole huge push of Latin American
Mr. Clerk, do
truckers,
we have anybody on the
farmers,
line?
and just general people
Madam
that are
Vice
saying,
Chair. I do
don't
have
go to
4
Florida. If
people
you have business in
online.
Florida,
We'll start
don't
with
do
Eric
it. If you have a
Schwen,
meeting,
who's
cancel
gonna
it.
listen
Like,
now.
truckers are not taking loads down there.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
We can go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Senator Rick Scott just
So
issued
I
a
am
travel
calling in
advisory
regards
for
to a couple
socialists
of different
visiting
items.
Florida,
My name is Eric Stratton. I live off of Salisbury Street
saying
in Worcester.
that Florida
So
is
first,
openly
I am
hostile
calling
to socialists,
about
communists, and
item
those that enable them.
7J
Yenni,
regarding
can you just
no
hold one
parking
second? I just want to
signage
hear what
on
Eric
Bancroft
is
Tower Hill Road
throwing up.
before and after the parking area at Bancroft Tower. I'm calling in opposition to this specifically because this is a very popular area, especially in the summers for runners, walkers, etc. And like many other public streets, it seems perfectly appropriate to allow parking on the side of the street. This is not a main thoroughfare. This is not a state highway.
Mhm.
It seems perfectly appropriate to allow people to come into that neighborhood and allow them to utilize that park and access that green space. So I am speaking in opposition of item 7J, that I think that area should be maintained for public access. And not have no parking anytime signage put up there. The
But
second
what about the
item
6
that I am
rich and
calling
powerful
about,
people that live
is
near it?
regarding Order 10B that requests the city manager consider implementing a moratorium on the creation of any new city parks until such time that all existing city parks are satisfactorily maintained, upgraded, and or completed from Councilor Bergman. As a parks commissioner, I think that our parks department works very hard to maintain and upgrade parks as necessary and as possible, based off of the funding that you, the city council, provide to them. So I think that by putting in a moratorium here simply means we are not allowing the city the opportunity to continue enjoying new and increased green space. City parks are really essential to the livelihood. They're the lungs of our city. They provide areas where people can get physical activity if they don't have facilities in their home. It allows them to have access to green space, which helps them in terms of their mental health and being able to relax. It strengthens local economies and helps create job opportunities. City parks really make cities much more resilient, and they provide a place for us to grow and thrive. They help increase community engagement, reduce crime, they help clean the air, they improve our water quality and allow for stormwater basically retention. I mean, these are really major
Mitigation,
tools
but
that
sure.
we have available to us. And we are so fortunate that we have a number of parks across our city. However, I think that implementing such a moratorium works in dire contrast to the goals of the city and our green spaces.
Could you wrap it up, please?
I certainly can. I
Thank
think
you.
that if there's certainly concern here that we need to have better funding and more maintenance, that it is the city council's obligation, and hopefully hopefully Councilor Bergman will really push for this to increase the funding for the Parks Department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said,
Next
Epic.
caller.
Nice. Yeah, Eric, great job.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Fred Taylor is the next resident. I'm trying to meet the resident now.
Destroyed their fucking asses.
You got wrapped it
Taylor,
up
you
by
can say your name
Donna.
to the
That's
residents as well as your item number.
it's basically just you and
That's
Adela.
how you know, yeah, it's how you know you're too
Fred Taylor, Worcester
powerful.
Resident. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to speak on item number 7E. I'd like to start off by thanking Councilors Rivera and King for requesting Urban Street between Pleasant and Austin Street be given an honorary name for Dr. Greta McNeil Way.
Well
We
done,
really
dude. Great
appreciate
job.
that.
Yeah,
Dr.
nice work.
McNeil was a leader in our community. She was a former school committee member and a
Do you just
professor at
have
Holy
those at the
Cross,
ready?
and much, much more. So I want to
You're
take
so
the time
fast
to
with them.
thank these two councils for bringing this forward. In advance, I'd like to thank the councilors who's going to support this in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next caller.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. The next caller is Gloria Hall.
Madam
I'm trying to
Bad
meet the
Chair.
resident now.
Closed captioning gets it.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can go ahead, say your name and city residence.
Okay. My name is Gloria Hall, and I am a resident of the city of Worcester, and I'm calling in support of item 7E. I too would like to thank Councilor Rivera and King for putting this item on the agenda. And, for
I dropped
the,
in chat the
the
travel
giving of the
advisory
honorary street name to
so folks
Dr.
could read it for
Ogretta, I would
themselves.
ask that they would add
It's
in the V.
it's pretty
'cause she
nasty.
always was officially Ogretta V. McNeil. And I
That a
think it'd be
state would
very
issue a
fitting
travel
to
advisory
have Irving
against
Street to
people.
be the street as she was on the city council. I'm not going to council, but the school committee.
They're so
for,
fucking butthurt that
10
the
years. She was
NAACP
very
would
much
deign to like
committed
have an
to,
issue with what
providing
they're doing.
a quality education for all of
See,
the
Ted Cruz said that
children
that until
of the
NAACP
city
doesn't
of Worcester
essentially doesn't
and
understand
beyond
what
with her
Martin Luther
through her
King was all
involvement,
about.
with the
They've lost touch
school
with
missed
his
that.
message. Yeah, that was
association.
yesterday.
So I hope that this will
Ted
move
Cruz
forward.
would
I
know.
don't really have an understanding of what the next steps are, but I am in support of
Human scrotum.
honorary
Scrotum with a
naming.
mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, the only speaker left is MAPL WAF. I'm trying to mute the organization now.
They better be talking in unison.
Hi, this is Grace Ross calling and speaking in support of 8.14B. Just to underscore, we had another incident of
Yes, yeah.
a non-Worcester constable assaulting somebody at an eviction. And I know that there was an addition to the order on May 9th of asking the city manager to collect these incidents. And this matter is certainly not closed. We are asking for this because repeatedly our safety has been endangered. I just heard today that there was an incident where folks were at an eviction and the officer who showed up, we don't know if it was a constable or a sheriff yet, we're looking through our materials, told everybody they better obey him, and he then lifted his shirt and showed that he had a gun that he was carrying. This is very terrifying for our people, and we're not sure why. Well, let's just put it this way. We think it's endangering us, and we think that, the city council took a real stand that this needed to be looked into properly, and we need to know that we can reach out to our police department and to our city council, and that you guys have the accountability for who serves and who doesn't serve in this city, and that you can hold them accountable. And the city, our chief has been very good about dealing with constables who are Worcester constables when there's been a problem. We've always been able to reach out to the police department directly if it was a Worcester constable and have them reached out to immediately sometimes when they were engaging, for instance, in trying to evict somebody when there was a bankruptcy stay in place. I know of one Worcester constable who was reached directly and reminded that an automatic stay protects somebody. So it really matters to us, and we appreciate the support of the city council so far, but this matter needs to stay in the forefront and on the front burner so that the incident that happened a week and a half ago does not happen again. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more callers?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. That's the end of public participation on the Zoom platform.
Collusion.
Della.
I'm pulling
That's
it
it.
down. I'm pulling it down.
Just making her more devilish in the picture.
All right, she's getting bigger fangs.
Yeah. Put an upside down cross on her head.
She could probably use laser beam eyes too.
Does it seem like we don't have anybody on?
Yep, we don't have any additional.
Okay,
He just
great.
told you that.
So we'll go back to the agenda.
Honestly, Florida wouldn't
the
exist
next
as
item
much
is
as they're going to hate to hear this without
So
Disney World.
7A to
Oh,
7B,
big
we're
time.
gonna refer to the
And
Department
without
of Public
immigrants.
Works and Parks.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to say,
All
and
in favor
also,
say
yeah,
aye. Those opposed, so be it.
huge amounts of money,
The next
deferred money from
7C
So
to
be it.
the Cuban
7I,
Revolution.
excluding 7E and 7F, because we'll take those out to, so you can speak on those. Those will be referred to Public Works. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, so be it. So 7E, Council Rose wants to sign on to that. Does everybody want to sign? Okay, everybody wants to sign on to that. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to let you. Okay. I'm just gonna, just let me finish. Okay.
Spicy.
So, Councilor Vera, would you like to speak on 7E?
Yes,
And then
Madam
Councilor
Chair.
King. Then Councilor Russell.
Dr. Ogretta V. McNeil was the Worcester Youth Guidance.
Yes, you too, Kate.
Was at the Worcester Youth Guidance Center, but shifted from teacher 2
Any
years
word
after
from
receiving her
Bill on whether or
PhD
not
at
we're
York
actually going to get him on
University.
stream?
Her teaching assignments
I haven't
were
heard
at
yet.
Assumption College and Anna Maria before she
Keep
joined the
keep that as
faculty
a
of Holy
surprise
Cross,
where
where
he
she spent
actually is
27 years.
for if he does if he
As
is
a
able to
faculty
sign in.
member in administration, she spearheaded a number of important
He's
initiatives.
battling poop thing, guys. Sorry
Dr.
to
Yeah.
spoil it.
McNeil
Yep.
was an organizing member of the African American Concentration and Phi Beta Kappa, as well as confidant to American, African, Latino, and Asian students, and that I know very well. She was a founding member of the Jesuit Conference on Minority Affairs and served as president of the New England Psychological Association. In addition to her work on campus, she dedicated herself to the greater Worcester community. Her concerns for individual and community members is reflected in the countless hours she gave to a variety of local organizations.
Do you know that one of the primary
Dr.
responsibilities
McNeil
of
served for 10
security
years on
guards
the
at Disney
Worcester
World
School
is
Committee,
stopping people
two
from
of those
spreading
as vice
ashes without
chairs.
permission?
Board positions also included
That's not
the
even, that doesn't
Unitarian,
even
the
surprise me a
University of
little bit.
Massachusetts Medical Center Foundation, trustee of Lamoille
Yeah.
College, and trustee of University of
Oh my God, do you know how many dead people would
Dr.
be
Ogretta
there?
was also counselor of the American
You know how many
Aquarium
already are?
Society.
Exactly,
She
but
worked
Still
with
are
yeah.
the
anyways.
Massachusetts
You know how
Association
easy
of
it is to
School
spread
Committees
ashes
and
without
chair
anyone
and
noticing?
co-founder of the Urban Division.
Yeah, you just,
She
put a hole in your pocket like
initiatives to
Shawshank.
enhance the quality of
Exactly.
education for all students. She
Then
was
it's just
such a
running
big
down your
advocate.
leg, but that's a problem you deal with
Dr.
later.
There.
Ogretta
It's just Big
retired
Lebowski
from
on
Holy
Space
Cross in
Mountain on repeat.
1997, but continued to be involved with a number of academic and civic projects.
Yeah, they're
I wanna
tackling
just
everybody with
personally
coffee
just say
cans
that,
here on out.
when I came on into council, I was at the time the only person of color elected into office, and I will say when I stepped on here, and it was a lonely path, it was a lonely journey, and Dr. Ogretta McNeil was my go-to person. There were many phone conversations.
My
there were
favorite
many
Disney thing
times
that
I'd
is
sit in
shaken
the
out from
living
this whole
room.
Florida thing is that Ron
She told
DeSantis
me
got
what
married at Disney,
she would
and
be
he
there
had
to
a big
counsel
old
me, and
Disney
even if there
wedding,
was things I
which
didn't,
is just
even
lovely.
what I
Yeah,
needed to hear,
his
he would
wife
invite
is
and
one
let
of those
me.
like adult Disney stands,
But
and
she
apparently that's
constantly
like one of the
stayed
biggest
involved
sore
in
spots
community,
for him.
and she was
Disney
Is
such an
adults.
inspiration to so many of us. And I really
Yeah,
feel
he
like
resents
it's
them for how much his
time, it's
wife
definitely
loves
time.
Disney.
This is, I feel, the least
in
we
knowing
can do.
that
It's
those wedding
definitely time
photos are going
to
to
be able
make their
to
way
honor
public at some point in time.
such a great woman that meant so much to so many and really, really changed the landscape. If I stand here today, it's definitely on the shoulders of people like Dr. Ogretta V. McNeil. So I'm
That's one
really
of the things
happy
that
to
pisses me
be
off about
listening
politics
and
in the
hopefully
country
more
these days is that
for
like
her as we move
you're
over the
forced to
next
take the
weeks, people
side
like
of
Dr.
a
Ogretta McNeil should
gigantic
never,
evil
ever be
corporation
forgotten
against
and always be
like,
remembered by her
these
wonderful
piece
work.
of shit
Thank you, Madam Chair.
politicians.
Right. Disney's no
Councilor Rivera?
hero.
Yeah.
Would you, someone had mentioned.
They just
that
suck
using
less in this
the
situation.
middle
Right.
initial.
V, yeah.
Okay, so can we amend that?
Oh, I watch
Okay.
Disney stuff all the
All right,
time. Listen,
thank you.
they make a good product, but
Just watch The Lion King on Sunday.
yeah.
The kids in the street
Thank you, Madam
yesterday
Chair.
were just
First
like
wanna thank,
singing the opening song,
the
running
Honorable
back and
Soraya
forth the
Rivera,
street.
From
for
Lion King?
putting both of these
Yeah.
forward, and
Yeah,
taking
they were
the
like,
initiative
there's
to
like
ensure
a one of the youngest
two
of them is like
individuals
really
are
small,
properly
and they were like
recognized and honored
lifting
to be a
him
part
up
of that.
and like
So
doing the
certainly
whole Lion
appreciate
King thing
Love
while
it.
on the trampoline. They'd
That
pick him
being
up
said,
and then smash him down and see
Dr.
how high
Ogretta
they could bounce
McNeil,
him.
she was the first woman hired
These kids
to
with
use
this
track
trampoline are
College
going
of
to
Holy
injure
Cross.
each other.
She was the first
It's a
American
huge hazard.
woman on faculty, and on that
Ruin
Well,
your
I
hel-
mean,
your
when they're
helmet.
riding,
Your helmet.
did I
Tell 'em
tell
to
you
flip
all
it
about
over
the
and do
time
Hell
when
on
they
the
had
Cell.
I say
they
we
had
used
the
to wrestle on ours.
scooters and the
And if there's one
they
thing
had those
that
like little
folks
scooter
talk
thingies
about
that little
when
kids
talk about
use when they're
Dr.
first
O'Neill
learning to walk
is her work.
that look like
This
fire
community,
trucks and stuff
she was
that
a
are like
mentor
just
to
long
many,
enough for them to sit
many
on.
folks who right now
They were
today
taking metal tipped
continue to work
shovels. Three
on
of them
college
were going in
campuses
circles on those.
in our
Two of them had
communities,
metal tipped
in the
shovels
Black
and they were
community,
trying to flip them, and one was
and
standing
in
in the
our
middle
homes.
bouncing to make it harder.
A definite leader.
Oh yeah.
These kids are going to injure themselves.
That's the point.
When it comes
I
to
support
The
injury.
oldest of them, The oldest
as a
of them is
council,
7. The youngest is
can
like
always
3,
learn
and I
from.
do not understand
As
why
I've
they're
said
allowed
before,
outside
we're a
unsupervised.
diverse
You should
council
leave
that
some
we
knives
have.
around for them.
We have
Yeah.
folks
No.
from
Yeah.
all different ethnicities,
I'll be honest, you're
races.
I'm not gonna
describing
be
my
complicit.
childhood.
Definitely mold
Like,
thought.
the strong will turn
And
out
as
fine.
leaders,
They might lose a
Oh,
coin or
they'll be
two.
it's
fine.
always important
They'll
to
totally be fine.
recognize
There's gonna
the
be
folks
some
that
injuries,
come
but what kid doesn't get
before us.
injuries?
When we were kids,
we're
one of my
on the
friends had a
school
trampoline in their yard,
where
and
she
we
worked
dug
and
a
worked.
ditch beneath it so that you could
know,
bounce higher.
I think that
That's
as
gnarly
we
as
move
hell.
forward,
It
I know
was
we're
so
trying to
cool.
figure out some things as it relates to the naming of streets and what have you.
Yeah,
But
we definitely
these two particular
wrestled on the
items tonight,
trampoline, and somebody
think
fell
are,
off. Thankfully, didn't
really
crack their head
about
open, but
our
definitely saw stars for a minute, and we thought we
homegrown,
gave them a concussion.
folks who took
Oh yeah, they've at
these
least got the
positions
netting
for
around it,
quite
so
a
they
long
can't fall
time.
off of it. So they're
Oh, so
fine.
hell in a
It's
cell.
definitely an honor to
Yeah,
do this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to see
The last time I was on a
that day when
trampoline
all of our
outside
community
of
comes
physical
together.
therapy
And with respect to the Black
was
community, it's of significant
when I was 9, I think,
significance
and I
that we're
hyperextended my
taking
knee
these
so
steps.
bad that my parents, who
A
were
leader who was
um,
able to
about
show us what it looks
quarter
like
mile
to
away
host
from the
a
trampoline
school
inside a
committee
house heard my scream.
in municipal governance. Thank you.
Damn.
And thank
Gross.
you, Soraya Rivera, for the leadership on this.
That was I was done with trampolines after
Councilor
that.
Russell?
Madam Chair, I
When
rise to
we were in middle
support
school,
and
this kid
sign on
that I was friends
to
with had a
7F,
4-wheeler
7G, and 7H.
and like not a
Obviously,
lot of supervision at
Captain
home.
O'Donnell,
So he lived right
my
near
friend,
Sullivan, where I
Perez.
went to middle
Tell you,
school.
Judge, if I were you, I'd be
And
concerned. I'd check with
we
my
would
doctor
go to his
whether or not,
house and like try and like
you know,
fix
like,
it up to
try
get it
to
working
fit
because it was a piece of
all over
shit. And then we'd
certainly
ride it
all
at the res behind South High and
Chair, Madam
Sullivan.
Chair.
George,
And
Councilor Russell,
one day
which
these
number we're doing?
these
7G,
kids
right?
they
7D.
like followed us because they wanted to
7F and a
see and they wanted to ride it.
7G.
And so there was this one kid that
No,
he's like,
let's
"Oh, can
talk
I take a
about one.
turn?" And the kid was
Oh,
like, "Yeah."
guys, we
Okay.
just missed
I'll
George
talk
being
about the one
confused.
that
I'm sorry,
I've
Brian.
already made my comment about this.
Okay.
I can't take it back, but I will say, in general, these are
What an
items
idiot.
that have to.
Okay,
come before
sorry,
the,
you were saying.
public
No.
works.
So
Starting
the
to
kid that
do-
owned it was like, "Oh yeah, do you know how to
I
use this?"
ask
And
you
he's
to
like,
let the
"Yeah,
fact
yeah, I
that
know how to
all
use
of
it."
these,
And
and
so
I'm
he's
gonna
like,
have to
"Okay,
talk
here you
about
go." And he like
the
started it up for him. The
all
kid
of
jumped
the
on
other
and just
major
hit the
items
gas
too.
and just
But
like
the bottom
froze
line
and
is
just
that,
drove straight
we
into a
need to get
tree.
these into the committee. We need to get them acted
And
on. And I
yeah,
think this is what
broke
the
both of his
ordinance is
wrists.
all about. When
And
we passed
for
this
the rest of the
ordinance,
school
this is
year
what
was
we were
just
thinking
in
about.
2
We
casts
weren't
that
thinking
held
about folks from,
like this. He looked like a
from
mummy.
hundreds of years ago or from
It was
all
incredible.
over. We were
That
thinking
sounds
about
awful.
people that made an impact in our community, like Dr.
If you go
Lynn.
back to 2020,
And,
when the Worcester
I
Police
would ask
Department brought
through
out the
Chairman,
riot
just
squad
as
for
a
the little
request
protest
to the
on Main Street,
administration to have
half the cops that
a
were there,
policy
I've
from
been
the water
engaged in
department,
bottle
from the
rocket and
public
Roman
works
candle
department, that
fights
we can
with
have at our
when I
next
was a
public
kid.
works
Right.
And like that
committee
whole
this
thing
month,
started
so
with
maybe
one of the
we can
people
answer
who
that
I've been
and address
actively
all
engaged
these
in bottle rocket
main,
fights with, having
requests
fireworks thrown at them.
and
Found that
we'll get
hilarious.
Pretty
approve them
kind of
now
beautiful.
already, and then-
Yeah.
And then we'll have some new ones here. So I think it's important that we prioritize that response to the request for a policy.
Yeah, so George got up and
Counselor
talked
Toomey?
about the wrong 7.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I also
Got scolded.
grateful to my colleagues for putting this on, and certainly it's well deserved. I had the great pleasure of serving with Dr. Greta V. McNeil. There was one thing that really people would often call her O'Neill, and it would send her right through the roof. She was just, but at any rate, she was an incredible
Was that
advocate
relevant to
for
something,
education
Kate?
and also an advocate for children in the Black community as well as all students. But while Judge Perez was working on the Latino Education Institute, Dr. McNeil was also working to enhance the educational opportunities for.
I don't know if
children
y'all
in the
heard
Black
my
community.
husband fake
Um,
crying,
and
but
we also, both
check
of
your
us worked very
drivers.
hard
Make
on
sure your
trying to
computer's drivers are
increase the
updated so they're
number of
not 2
minority
years out of
teachers,
date,
which
like the
reflected the
friend friend of his who he's playing D&D with.
I was also a co-chair with her for the
Also, never
urban
buy
division,
Paisley. That's this loud.
and we taught each
Yeah,
other.
that's not flattering on her.
And that was something that Dr. McNeil
It works on some people.
always, strived to do, was to continue to learn and teach others.
as well, and I certainly learned a great deal from her. She was gracious, she was a force to be reckoned with, she was compassionate, and she was demanding of others as much as herself. And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity to have her.
We've
memory,
done D&D on
forever,
stream
be,
before. Brian and the other Yenni guys
placed
did
in
it.
the city
I
of
think we
Worcester,
should do
so
that
thank you
again.
very much.
Thank you. So 7E, all in favor, say aye. Those
Aye.
opposed? So be it. Okay, I'm going to do 7F, and then I have to go back to 7A because there's an amendment to that one. So we'll do that in a second. So 7F, Councilor Rivera, followed by Councilor Carson, followed by Councilor King, followed by Councilor Toomey.
Oh, Councilor Carson didn't.
Madam Chair, as I wind down my time here in council,
So many comedians got their start
a
because
lot
of
of
Councilor
times we
Carson.
say we wait till some people have passed, and I wish that
Remember when Councilor Carson would call you over to the couch and you know you'd made it?
knew like how many people that she impacted, and I wanted to be able to have this opportunity to be able to honor someone while he's alive and healthy, because he.
Has anybody read
completely
Stephen Wright's
deserves
book
it.
yet?
So
No.
we're requesting
Apparently, he
this
just
petition
released a
for
new
Judge
book
Luis
from the perspective of a 7-year-old.
Perez, located Main Street between Highland and School Street, because it's
Amazing.
the old courthouse and juvenile court
Sounds like a
system.
funny read.
Judge Perez was born February 14th on Valentine's Day. That's where he has all that love from. I'm not going to say. In Puerto Rico, and admitted into the bar in 1980. He was 10 years old when his parents moved to Worcester from Puerto Rico and enrolled him in Ascension Grammar School.
Pathfinder 2.0, 2E is so good.
11 years as
I love it.
Associate Justice and 9 as First Justice of the Worcester.
Yeah, they're
Juvenile Court
already
he served. He believed his role was not just
they're
to
already
decide guilt or innocence,
reading all of
but
the
to
books
figure
and
out
stuff.
what went wrong
So.
in the lives of young people.
Yeah,
and
we
how
bounce back
best to get
and
them
forth
back on
between
track.
Pathfinder 1E and 2E.
And
And
that's what I think is
they're great.
most
It's two different
amazing
games, so it's
about the
worth
lives that
playing
Judge
both.
Perez has touched.
What
here
I
in this
miss
community.
is
in that spirit, he insisted
Vampire
that
the
the court
Masquerade.
cannot be
Oh yeah,
isolated from the
making a
community.
comeback. People are just getting into it again.
Demanded that community groups, neighborhood centers, social service
Yeah, but it's not the
agencies,
same.
and the school
The
system
The new
step up
version is
their
still
efforts
like
to help young people.
they still ruined it.
Even in
And
his
Requiem was just a
semi-retirement,
nightmare.
He continues to give. He continues to work. We were there. He was catalyst for the Borinqueneers.
But they
He's
also
someone
play
that
Fate.
not only helps us maintain
Yeah,
our
we play
culture,
Fate a
but
lot.
maintains to be proud of who we are. He
Fate's
serves
cool.
all people. There's
I like
never
Fate.
a time
I like how
that I know
freeform
that people have
Fate
picked up
is.
the phone and Wes has
Yeah,
been
our
and Wes,
one of our
you know,
two
what do you think of
DMs,
this, or
Maddie
we need
T,
such a thing, and
who
he says
is
no.
the reigning top dog Titan
And
champion.
I'm
He
completely
loves
honored
Fate.
to
He
be
runs
able
us through
to
Fate games all the time.
bring
It's
this
super fun.
forward to someone who's given so much. I think a lot of people don't realize how much
Agreed.
blood, sweat, and tears.
It's because
have gone
it's what we talk
into,
about all the time. It's
the
bike shaming.
fact that
They
we have
can
district
they can
seats
talk and
on
talk
this
and talk
council,
about this and not have to make
the
a
fact
hard
that we have
decision on anything.
diversity on this council, the fact that we have so
Brian,
much
do you ever see you,
diversity changes in our educational system.
yeah.
Sorry.
Some of the ways that we
Do you ever
look at
see
our
you guys
judicial
doing
system.
D&D again on
I was
stream
able,
here?
in my
I want
early
to.
career,
I very much want to.
as a
I'd
social
totally play.
worker, coming
Yeah.
before him as
We,
I was bringing
we gotta make it happen soon.
families. It was like very different.
My
It was
favorite
just
character I
amazing
ever
because
played.
he wasn't just a
We were
judge that was
doing
just
a
passing sentence. Like he really cared about people. I was like, is this for real?
what the hell was the setting? Dragonlance. And I was
he did this
playing
at
a
time where
Kender.
that was not
A Kender
ever
rogue.
discussed.
Cool.
Like we were dealing with
That was fun.
major oppressive systems for our communities and for
I
our
really
marginalized
liked playing a
groups.
Kender.
He was paving ways. He was
I-
paving roads and ways for us at a time that many people were not
Shadowrun
even thinking about.
is very cool.
I was banned
He's
from
definitely
playing
a
Kender in the
trendsetter.
future.
He opened roads.
That's
and
how
I
much
really
fun I
will
had with it.
forever, ever be grateful. Me
Although they
personally,
changed Kender in the new
I
version.
want to thank
They
him
no longer get to
for all
pickpocket
he's
everyone
done for this
at
community,
will.
for all he's done to so many people, for his fingerprint
damn
that
I
is
don't know
on
how
so
many
many
people here know
people's lives.
Dragonlance, so
I am proud.
Yeah, how many
I wanna
nerds in the
just thank
chat?
his
Sound
family for
off.
sharing him, because I know that he was often called away and had to be the mentor and
It's a
father to so many
fantastic book
kids. So
series
thank
if anyone's
you to his
interested.
lovely wife and his children for sharing him, because I know that the community just pulled on him so much. So I'm
It's
really
long, though.
proud. I'm proud
There's a lot of books.
and
I
honored.
think there's close to
to
100 now.
call him a mentor. I'm proud to
All
call
those
him a
fantasy
friend.
series just
And most importantly, as
pumping
Yeah,
them
there's
out.
the core
our poet
9.
laureate would
but-
say, I'm proud to call him familia del alma,
Wow.
family from the soul, which means it's not just family you're born into, but
We were
family that
playing
you-
last year. Maddie ran us through a
So,
fate-based
felicidades,
game that
mereces
was
y mucho más.
use the
Judge,
world of
you deserve
Shadowrun
this
because the
and
Shadowrun
much
system
more.
is not always fun.
So I'm really glad and thank you for this
But it was
council
set
for
in
giving
like
this opportunity for
the
someone while they're
Shadowrun
alive
version
that
of
they can
Worcester,
hear the
and
impact.
it
Everything
was super
that he
fun.
You
did,
mean Mega
and
City?
it was for something.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
mattered. And the fact that
yeah.
he
It was the
represented
heart
this council,
of the East Coast
he had a
mega
lot
city
to do with
was
that.
Worcester.
Hell yeah.
So thank you.
And all of the bad stuff, like
Thank you.
centered
Councilor Northhausen,
around
I
and
mean, you
caused
wanted
us
sign on
to
to this as well.
have to
Does everybody want to
infiltrate Polar Park. That was where
sign on? Councilor
the heart of the evil plot was happening.
Thank you,
Which
Madam
was
Chair.
great and fitting.
I just want to say how much I appreciate Councilor Rivera putting this order on. Our history.
It will depend. It would depend on how many people actually get the requisite signatures. I don't think there probably will end up being that many people on the ballot, but there are
Back in the
a ton
days
of people
when
that are trying for it right now.
City of Worcester youth, many of my constituents, my clients, quite honestly, came through the judge. The judge is somebody who, interestingly enough, and as my career
And as we found out, it's really hard to get signatures
judge
to
didn't
get on city council.
that for a lot of years, I
Because
shared
Jose
this
Rivera couldn't pull it off. He had to jump into a district
worked
race because he couldn't get 300 signatures. So
but fast
it's
forward through the
it's tough.
years
It's really tough.
of when I made a decision.
It's not that he
to
couldn't
run,
get
and the
300
judge
signatures.
was
It's that his
there
district
alongside
asked him to run in district.
helping me and guiding me. And one thing that I
And he
will
does this
always
every time he
say,
mentions
and
it.
I have
He
so
like
much
practically
respect
chokes
for
himself with
him,
his hand.
and the reason I
'Cause he's
say
lying.
that is because of the
He's
folks
trying to punish himself for
like
lying.
Alex Corrales, and I look at Jose Perez, and I look at the city manager. And I
Which
will
six?
never forget the night that the city manager came to District 2 and talked about his
Guys,
dreams,
it's okay to have an
visions
opinion,
that
and it's okay to disagree with someone's opinion, but it's not okay to humiliate them because they don't think the same way you
who he
do.
was,
Show
the
some
impact
respect.
that he had
Yeah.
on our city manager's
Yeah.
life. It
Stop
became
making
a
fun of
great
Walter Bird for being a
emotional night,
dunderhead.
which was a great night for District 2.
That's his friend.
There's many of those times that I can talk about with the judge because the judge, no matter where you are in this city, he was always there for everybody. There was
sounds
never
creepy.
a time when we discussed
Yeah,
an issue
legitimately.
that everyone wasn't included. by
He
the
doesn't care
judge.
about color, and he's always
And
there.
why? Because it matters to him that this community was together and that it was better for the city of Worcester. And oftentimes when we have breakfast or have coffee, it's really about how do we do better? How do we as a city and how do we as elected officials? And he has shaped more elected officials.
Yeah, I gotta still sign
I think,
Attell's
than
papers.
anybody will ever realize. And
She was
he's
supposed to
guided
stop by
us
yesterday,
in
but got held up
ways
at work.
that really so many
So
of
if
maybe
you're in
would
D5,
not have
reach out to
gone down
Attell.
that path.
Sign her papers.
But because of his true love for his community, it's made Worcester, he has made Worcester a much better place for all of us who live in this community and who have grown up in this community. I know for me and my family, we're forever grateful for having the opportunity to have Judge Perez as one of our friends. And I say thank you to his wife, Lisa, and your family because of all that you have given each and every one of us here in the community. But the judge is
There
always
was
been somebody, no
a
matter
signature
what, whether
event
it was our
the other
youth or
day.
whether it's our seniors,
I
or
wonder
whether
if
was
there's
very
gonna be
well
another one coming
attended.
up.
the rest of the
Yeah,
residents
At
here in our
Redemption Rock.
community. He's
It was
cared
awesome.
about each
Yeah.
and every one. and cared about
Yeah, I don't.
Very
I
crowded.
don't sign. I don't sign paperwork. I never put my name on anything, so
what
that's the only reason
happened
I
in the
didn't
past
go. But
that we would choose
Smarter
as
that way.
elected
yeah,
officials. So again, I want to thank Councilor
and it's
Sabaya
illegal to
Rivera,
use a fake
but
name. So,
again, Judge, it's a proud night for me.
like I
to
do
be
on every
here
other
and an
signature I
honor
sign.
for me to be here, to be part of
Well, it wouldn't be
naming,
necessarily illegal. It just
a
wouldn't count. So
honorary
there's no
name
point in
Yeah.
doing
on
it.
one of our
Right.
streets.
Oh,
It's a great
well,
night
I
for
mean,
the city of Worcester.
if you wanted to
and
sign
there's other
allegedly
folks who
somebody
are
like Jose
on
Rivera's
here that we
paper
will
with
recognize
a whole
tonight.
bunch
Thank
of fake signatures,
Counselor King?
He's already
and
on the
then
ballot.
ah,
Yep.
Dr. Alistair
Thank you, Madam
Funkenstein.
Chair. Just want to begin by
Holden
saying
P. Caulfield.
that the
Cheese
judge's
freely.
reputation is one of respect
Shaun
and recognition.
Rose.
Folks know who you are. There's a level of respect in this community, and of course, in the Latino community. A lifelong commitment that continues to this day. I know firsthand, as a child protective adolescent social worker at DSFs and now DCF for more than I like to share, 25 years.
Why
I
is Shaun Rose
transferred and
smirking?
began in the Worcester area back in 1998.
Christian's doing a classic
And right
bit.
around that time, in 1999, we had a thing called Columbine. And that
What was that
Classic.
about?
Classic bit.
really impacted the nation. It impacted juvenile justice. It impacted social work.
Changed clothing.
It drove me to fight
Yeah,
in
impacted
my
social
limited
work
role
so much that
for
DCF
equity,
is currently
to
seeking
look
volunteers
at
to review
disproportionality in
children's
sentencing,
cases every
disproportionality
6
in
months.
fostering of youth, disproportionality as relates
I got an
to
email about it just
people of color,
randomly out of the
socioeconomic
blue.
income,
Fun.
and rulings.
They're just looking for
And the one
volunteers
thing that was always known
because they can't pay
about
people
Judge
enough apparently,
Perez
or pay enough
is that he
people.
was a people's judge.
Sick.
A people's judge, one of compassion and consequence. And when he made rulings, it was to keep a
Yeah, I
kid
really
safe,
wish one of them would jump
take
over to
them from their
DD, but
home,
it's a
leave
little
them in
late
their
now.
home. It was regarding issues of
Right.
delinquency or noncompliance.
ED. So like
It always
designated
had
hitter.
that lens.
No, the
And
school
as a
committee districts
young
or letters.
black male social worker in a field where there wasn't many of me, to see a judge on the bench
No, but that's
I think
awesome.
that looked like
she was.
Judge Perez
Was she? I assumed that she was
reflected
talking
his
about the.
values,
There's a guy in the audience named
was
Jose Perez
solace
who
for
spoke
folks like myself
about
in
one of
the
the
profession.
items, about that item pertaining to the
A
judge
fighter,
during public comment. I assumed
definitely
that
a
she was
fighter.
Yeah.
speaking about him, but I could be wrong.
And
Wouldn't
I'll
surprise me if I was
certainly
wrong.
be candid enough to say there's been some things I understand that
Jessica,
we
the
disagree
email
on,
didn't mention it being for anything check and
but the
balancey, but
fight
I suppose it
and
could
the
be.
integrity is what matters. It comes from a
It
place
very much seemed like
of
it was like a
pureness,
primary role
equity,
of
and
reviewing cases.
inclusivity. This is a big deal,
But
as you've heard tonight,
I could
for
be
our
wrong.
city.
The
It's a
email
big
was
deal.
fairly short,
It's a big deal for the Latino community,
and I didn't
for
click
the
the
Puerto
link.
Rican community, for the Worcester family. We are,
Cool.
as I said, a very diverse
That's a
body
lot
here.
better then.
And yes,
I'm far more okay with
Judge
that.
Perez has had an impact on many of the positions,
Especially
elected,
since it probably
appointed,
comes along with extremely
employees,
minimal, if
and more
any,
in
training.
municipal government.
Because
I happen to know
our
a lot of
state doesn't like
folks
to give training
that
to anyone.
consider Judge Perez family. They tell me that's their familia, but they're not really related in blood. They're related in humanity. They're related by a way of fathering, mentoring in real time. As Councilor Rivera mentioned, public service is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice from your family. It's a sacrifice from your own personal passions and dreams. And at the end of the day, it hopefully solidifies your personal values. A people's judge that challenged systems. The system here in Worcester needed to be challenged many years ago and today. And we all do that from our various perspectives. And challenging of systems comes from inside and without. we're a better city for those challenges that were met, unmet, the legal challenges that I'm aware of that have happened over the years. I know our friend Ruth has shared many stories about the Latino community fighting for fairness. And that's what this speaks to. I want to close by saying Councilor Rivera's last term, these are two significant items that we're moving forward. I'm wondering through the chair if I can make a motion that we connect this to any forms of historical documentation that we have in the city. I know for the Black History Trail that I was a part of creating and formulating, there's digital means and accesses that can be added to. Major Taylor is part of that as well. I know in the Latino community, they have over at the Arts Museum, you know, a very much edified and codified historical documentation there to make sure that we're tying these to that. Because it's important that our young folks see this. It's important that they see us in this body. Different religions, as I mentioned, different histories and origins and perspectives and races. And Judge Perez.
Yeah, I'm starting the
you
research
that
on
difference maker
adoption
visually
stuff. Unfortunately, I
and in
can't foster
actual
because I have a
practice.
dog that happens to be a German Shepherd mix.
And we appreciate
So
that. Thank
they
you.
won't let me foster. But,
Councilor Toomey, followed by Councilor Russell.
Thank you, Madam
it's
Chair.
very interesting the steps
When I
that
first met
that are
the
expected to be
esteemed
gone through
judge, I was
with the
just on a
12
school
weeks
committee,
of
and we were
classes and
talking
stuff.
about the issues that were impacting our youth and how could we get them back to school.
Yeah, there's a lot involved.
And he knew
Yeah.
that I was passionate about helping.
Yeah,
And so,
definitely.
they asked me
Wait.
to.
That's what I was reading online. That's all I know is what I was reading online.
You guys should
But
connect.
yeah, I would be
Absolutely.
happy to chat about
Yeah.
it. I'd love to learn more.
Effort to help the
I'm all
children
about
in
having
our
all of
city.
the information.
I have to say that the judge and I had some great conversations.
So how many
about my
counselors
uncle's
do we have
mayor,
left
in
for
Monsignor
speaking
Tinsley,
on
as well as
23.
some great people that he
I
worked
think
with.
we haven't heard
over the
from
years.
Mo, Shaun,
And I have to
Donna,
say that
two or a Tell.
I learned an
And at
incredible
least two
amount
more of them are going to
Latino
speak,
culture,
you'd think.
from the judge. We had a lot of great conversations.
Yeah, I don't think Two and a Tell
I
will.
was
No.
embraced by
I think
the
they're
judge,
about just moving
entire
things along.
family.
Well, also I
Worked
mean
very
they're
closely with Lisa
newer
as well
to
on
the
LEI, and
council
all of the
slash
efforts,
you know
and was
younger
influenced
than
a lot of events,
the rest of these people.
because that's how the judge is. He embraces people, he brings people together, and it's all about family. My colleagues have mentioned that.
Just
And
then
my,
just to
aim
vote to
for
approve
the
this, and
judge
then let's
Lisa,
have
Move
these
on.
speeches. Have
Primo
these
and
speeches
prima.
at the ceremony.
So we are cousins, not necessarily by blood, but in our hearts. So I'm so grateful for the friendship as well as the leadership.
And Yenni, if Jessica can't
always
help
been
you out, I can
committed,
probably find you a kid cheap.
To important issues. He looks at them from
My
all
aunt
sides,
literally said, like,
justice and
when I
consistency.
was first
And
being told
understands
that I
that
was
we
not
all may
able
have a
to
difference of
have
opinion,
children,
but in
she
the
was
end,
like,
we all need to do the
just
right
let me
thing.
know. Let me know when, and I will
and,
buy you a baby. I'm like,
I was
Boy,
very
oh
grateful.
boy.
seriously? You want to word it that way?
Friend of someone who's compassionate, a fighter, kind, a teacher, and a true friend. And he's created an incredible legacy. I would have to say that the judge
Yeah, Jess can get you a kid.
When Kevin White
She can make that
was,
happen.
honored.
Yeah.
They did the statue of him.
Our hope is to adopt. But
Boston, and it was larger than life.
Yeah, and mine don't come with warranties, so that's probably want to start with Jessica.
How I envision the judge. So thank you so
oh,
much.
if we
to my
adopt, that's
colleagues
it.
who are,
There's no warranty
recognizing,
needed.
The judge and all of his efforts and the changes that he made.
We
to
want to
make
adopt
Worcester a
older,
better
hopefully
place for everybody.
siblings.
So thank you so much.
Councilor Russell?
Madam Chairman, I've already spoken about the judge, even though it was on the wrong item, and I apologize to you, Madam Chairman, for that. But
Oh, so you're gonna
you
speak
know,
again? Cool.
I was only half kidding. You know, don't let them think that he's stopping. Don't let them think, anybody think that he's slowing down, because we're counting on you to keep going, Judge, to keep going, because your impact is obvious to folks that
Is
are
he there?
minorities, that are Puerto Ricans, and blacks.
Guess so,
Because they
huh?
keep like
Any minority.
pointing to
But it's
the
also to all
audience
of us,
area.
myself included. You
It
know,
seems like they're
you've
talking
taught
to
us
him.
how to treat
I'm not a big
people,
fan of naming things
taught
after
us how to
people who are
honor
still
people,
alive.
and how to get things done.
Like
Yeah.
if you're a president, you can have a library named
This
after you.
Lebanese
And if
kid
you like have
on
a ton of
Grafton
money
Hill,
and you want to like
I
name
will
something
tell
after
you,
yourself because you can afford to
just
do it,
keep
that's
going,
cool. But
because we need you.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like some time should have passed after you've passed
Okay,
before.
so
The
say a
Brendan
year.
Melican Municipal Water
Public
Slides.
Works, all in favor,
That's
say aye.
different
Those
because it's
opposed, so
absurd.
be it.
And if we actually had a
So go
water
back,
park
so I can make a
and
motion
Hermit
to
Field,
suspend
like
the
I would be
rules.
okay
All
with you
in
naming
favor,
that
say
after
aye.
me
Those
because that's just
opposed,
so
so be it.
ridiculous that yeah,
And
why not?
Does rule.
then do I have to do?
I don't know if he's in the room, but they're all definitely
Correct, Madam Chair. So
grandstanding
we
to
can
his
do
supporters.
7A, this way, Counselor, I think, I'm sorry, 7B, Counselor Rose can amend it.
But yeah,
Okay,
the
so,
presidential libraries, they just make sense because they just
consideration,
hold their
all in
documents
favor,
from
say
their
aye. Those
presidential
opposed,
time, right?
so
Like,
be it.
it's not like that's
Okay,
a regular library.
so, Councilor
No,
Rose?
no.
Yeah.
So
I
it just
think it
makes
also
sense.
may contain like their collections
amend
of
this
books or
to
something, like
Councilor Rose
books that they
request
select
Indian Hill Park be renamed
or something
Sarah
like that.
Robertson
But I don't remember
Sports
exactly.
And then
Facility.
isn't
It's
the
been a while
doesn't
since I've been
the
to one.
Reagan Library
Hill
have like a
Park.
weird like simulator about
Similar to Councilor Rivera,
like the Cold
this is a
War?
little bit of unfinished business for me
I
as
think
well.
there's a This American
I was
Life
already
episode
talking
about it.
to Sarah and the family.
Oh, you're not joking.
Last year.
No, I'm serious. Yeah,
Potential,
it's
to name
like a
something
scenario.
on
Like they bring kids on field trips to
sadly,
like run
she
through
passed
like.
away, last
It's
week.
actually the computer
We
from
weren't
War
able to
Games.
get them
Yeah,
You can go in and play.
You
with her
just
being
do.
gone.
You just go in and do
I
Iran
do
Contra.
have some comments put together for the Parks Commission that I'll share with them. But if
My
you do
fifth
the
grade science
brevity, Madam
report
Chair, I'll
is
quickly get
Iran
through this.
Contra.
Is anybody
Sarah
watching
Robertson's
White
achievement
House Plumbers?
in becoming the first
Yes,
female mayor
I
of
only
Worcester
got the
County
first
so
episode though.
inspires and motivates young women to pursue leadership
Enjoying
roles
it.
in their community. As a father
quite
of
good.
4
Yeah.
daughters, this is extremely important. to
Really,
me. During a time when
they're doing a great
male
job of
dominance
like
of the
striking
local
the tone
political
of like
scene,
how
Sarah becoming mayor was no
comical
easy
this
task.
stuff is,
Nevertheless, she proved to
like
everyone it was a
belies like,
possibility,
and kind
ending
of throws into stark
130
contrast
years
how
of
evil
exclusively
these people
male
are.
mayors
They're
in the
so
city of
bad
Worcester.
at
Yeah.
so
That is
many things, and
134
it
years of
makes them
mayors that
worse.
were just males.
But it's very,
During
very
her
good.
tenure,
Remember when I
Robinson
was a kid,
used
G.
her
Gordon
role as
Liddy still had his
mayor
like
of Worcester
radio
to
show and
represent New England,
was starting to do a lot of
which had never
media.
been done
I found
before.
him so
She would deliver
fascinating.
speeches
Just
about
the
Worcester
fact
at
that he
seminars
existed
and
on the
conferences
same
across the
plane of
Northeast,
reality as me
that
was
she would
Yeah.
attend
mesmerizing.
Yeah.
because it was so meaningful
Justin
to her.
Thoreau is so good.
Her doing so helped to share the word about Worcester during the appearances she made on Boston TV talk shows and news shows. It's also worth noting that she served on the city council. as
Also,
the
it
fourth
really does a
female
good job of
elected to the
highlighting
city
just like
council in the
there aren't
city's
really a lot of conspiracies, like real
She was more than a
conspiracies, just
political
like
figure. She
a
was
lot of
involved
really
in numerous
crazy
community
people doing wild ass
organizations,
shit without
active
asking
engagement
permission.
member of the
And
Worcester community for many
like,
years. Extracurricular activities, in particular for children, were something that she was a champion of. Naming Indian Hill Park after her would help celebrate.
Yeah,
her
you forget
accomplishments and showcase a positive role model
like
for
just how
future
many
generations
tendrils
to
that
look
whole
up to
thing
or to continue to look up
had.
to.
Like
The city of Worcester
had.
would not only be
It's
sending a message
so
of
crazy.
inclusivity and diversity, as evidenced by what we've done here tonight with Judge Perez and Dr. O'Neill. It would also show that the city values and continues to recognize and contribute.
So have
the
you guys
diversity
been
of all
following this story
space,
that
regardless of their gender.
Woody Harrelson
Worcester has only
and
seen
Matthew
2 female mayors
McConaughey
so
have been
far,
talking
maybe
about
this third will be one of
publicly
those children,
that they
join,
think that they're
Indian
actually
Hill Park.
brothers,
So
like
I'd
legitimately
like
brothers.
to express a lot of gratitude.
If you don't know anything about Woody Harrelson's family,
me on her behalf.
look
And
up
as I referenced, it's
his
just
dad.
unfortunate that we
His
weren't able to
his
get there
dad
on
is
time.
a
And I'd
hitman,
love,
like
to
a
see this
shitty
go to the
hitman.
Park Commission
and
quickly as
killed a
possible.
judge
I know that the
in the
family is coming in next week
60s, I want to say.
for some services, and
I
I
think
know
it
that
was,
my
yeah,
colleagues,
maybe
the
it was
others will
later.
get
I can't remember,
some
but
insights on
essentially, this story goes that Matthew
I
McConaughey's
think you-
parents were
Counselor, can you want to speak
estranged
and sign on?
for a time.
Anybody else want to
And
sign
during
on to
that
this?
time, his
Anybody?
mother had an affair with Woody Harrelson's dad, and it was
Thank you, Madam Chair.
lines up
So,
with
Sarah,
the timing that they could they could be half
mentioned as the
brothers.
first woman mayor here in the city of Worcester, and I'm very grateful that my
Have any of you watched or found clips of Matthew McConaughey's weird telethon sermon thing that he did? Man, he is so far off the reservation.
Yeah.
And when
I'm so
we,
bummed he didn't run for governor. That would have been a fucking
the
trip.
back of City Hall to Judge Mulaney,
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to sit next to Mayor
That's
Robertson.
great, Joanna.
And had a wonderful conversation with her, and have a great picture of her, she and I. And it was amazing.
Yeah,
some of the
Joe's
things we talked
Yeah.
about,
Joe's at the Palladium
being in
watching
politics at that
High
Bill,
Command
time,
tonight.
he's actually
that was
playing
still
with Bill
true,
tonight. He's
to
going to
this
sit in.
day. So she was always, I always considered her, you know, a true role model.
We were trying to get Bill
someone,
to sign
really to
in
be looked up to because,
from the
parting
stage
the way
at the
was not
Palladium,
easy.
and he was trying to do it. He
She
couldn't.
did
He couldn't
so
get the.
great,
He couldn't
and
get free.
dignity, and was very
Aw.
much loved for her service. And so I want to thank my colleague as well for signing, for creating this order. And I'm very happy to support this.
Guys, Joe's
Councilor
at the
King?
show at the Palladium. It's obvious.
Yeah. That's what we were just saying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I certainly also would like to sign on to this.
People are wondering about
very
his safety.
timely.
No, only in the pit.
You know, the idea of being a first here in the city of Worcester is significant. You know, we've talked a little bit about tonight the impact on government, representative government, and here is a prime example of that.
Yeah, I hope
Knowing
people like.
historically
I don't know
the
if people should
roundabout
listen to
of what
High
I'll
Command's
call it,
new
the
record.
go-round,
It's so
that
fucking
occurred
good.
with the multiple votes.
It's so
that
goddamn
ultimately
good.
led to her becoming mayor of Worcester.
I like heavy stuff. They're not exactly
Really
my
talks
cup of tea,
about,
but I definitely had to give
what
it a
makes you
spin.
think about
Just for how much people are talking about it.
being present.
Like
and
it's good
available,
for what it is.
For
It's insanely good.
opportunity. You have to meet the moment. And once the opportunity was granted, as we've heard tonight, she pursued and represented Worcester, not just in the city, but beyond. And it's something I think that we as well will continue to do in her.
How long's it been now?
support.
Almost
So
an hour?
This is timely. I look forward
Yeah.
to this moving around. There's a lot of historically significant acts that this body is taking. And here's another example of that. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll send this to Parks
Cool.
again. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it.
Joe's there for the
now
stage
we'll go
dives
down
and the
on
high
to-
fives.
So 7
Every Saturday night, you know
through
it's
7R, we're going to send to traffic and parking. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, say nay. So be it. Yes. Jay. Oh, okay, we already did that one, but we can go back. Okay. Okay, 7G.
Yep.
Councilman
Because she can't keep track of anything.
Right.
She did this last time. She was up
Madam
there
Chair,
too.
As we have gone around tonight with the naming of the streets, we have a gentleman by the name of John Diorio who just turned 90, a businessman in my district who obviously owns Diorio's. His grandson had reached out to Council Russell as well as myself and was looking to give Plantation Terrace the honorary street name of John the Barber Way. This is a man who's been in business for over 70 years in the city of Worcester and given back to
They
the
do still
city.
give very
I think
cheap
this would be a
haircuts
great
that are
way
actually
for
pretty
us to
decent.
honor somebody who has done so much for the
They've
community.
still got their
over in
walk-in
my
that's like
district,
$15
District
for a cut.
2.
It's worth a street.
So
It's worth a street
for
name.
women's.
his grandson actually had wanted to be here tonight, but obviously communication was not very clear. So this would be great if this is
Who's that an
another
attack on?
street that we could add tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a couple callers on the line that want to speak on these items, right? Is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
Madam Chair, so I think there was one caller that had communicated that they couldn't get through. It's, I think, a school committee member, Jim Kamara, who was looking to speak on 7F,
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
7E. If you would like to suspend rules, I can identify the school committee member.
She just freezes when she's confused.
Gemma, can you hear us? Gemma, can you hear us? So I don't think that we can hear the school committee members. At this point, Madam Chair, I don't know what we can do.
Okay. So just to be clear, we're doing 7C through 7I and we're sending it to the Public Works Committee. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. So now,
Oh my goodness, a shocked look on her face.
try one more time.
Madam Chair, I have unmuted school committee member Kamara, but I think it's on her end. Technical difficulties, not on our end. If she can hear us, then it's her microphone.
Oh, she's gone now. She's up. Okay. So 7K through 7R, we're sending to Traffic and Parking Committee. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Madam Chair, for clarification, 7J was going to the parks.
Well, I'm doing that next. Thank you. So 7J.
Don't use that there, Nico.
We had a caller that called in.
Man.
The area that they're asking.
Evil
for no
fucking
parking is
computer.
Part of the Parks Department. So it was sent to Traffic and Parking already. It's now being sent to Parks. So 7J and 7S, we're going to refer to Veterans Memorial Parks and Recreations Committee. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. Okay, 7.
So ordered. That's so be
7V.
it.
We'll set up a hearing for June 6th, 2023.
So say we all.
God save the king.
Gloria?
This is the way.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Gloria?
Yes.
Councilor Hajia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Travis, if
Councilor
you can
O'Donnell?
get a close up of Donna's
Yeah.
face, I really
Councilor
think
Rivera?
that
Councilor Rose?
her glasses tonight would look
Russell?
perfect superimposed on
Yes.
Clippy from OG Microsoft Office.
Okay.
I will.
Manager,
Sad trombone.
all in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. Okay.
I don't have a
Now we're going
slide
to
whistle.
the
I do have
manager's,
I do have sad trombone
agenda,
though.
Communications to the city manager. So the first one is appointments. So 8.1A, B, and C is information only. We're going to place those on file. They're related to reappointments of Latoya Lewis, Guillermo Kramer, Jacqueline Yang to the Human Rights, and reappointment to Erin Zamaro to Parks, and a reappointment to Albert LaValle to Planning Board. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. Next appointment is.
Donna keeps saying through the chair a storm is coming.
Recommended to reappointment of Linda Laveri to Accessibility Advisory Committee. Roll call, please.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Hajia?
Yes.
It's like
Councilor King?
Yes.
because Joe can't speak very well,
Again?
you don't realize
Councilor
like
Rivera? Councilor
how
Rose? Yes. Councilor Russell?
like dumb he
Yes.
sounds like in a
Toomey?
weird
Yes.
way, and
Madam
like
Vice Chair Gloria?
because
Yes.
Donna speaks clearly, you're just like, oh, this sounds so fucking dumb.
A, transmitting informational communication related to National Public Works Week, which we.
We never made a
donation.
throw the chair
That will
shirt.
go on
That's
file.
definitely
All in
top of the
favor,
list.
say aye.
Yeah,
Those
I think
opposed,
it's a very simple black with white text through the chair
Um,
with
8.8A,
WCT 3000 underneath it could be really
transmitting
effective.
informational communication related to the Dedication Neighborhood Enhancement Team. That will go to Standing Committee on Public Works. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. B, transmitting informational communication relating to recycling.
I'm eating, and that's why I keep
That
turning
will
off my
also
camera.
go to
But I'm down to make all these
Council
shirts,
Russell,
but people
Public
got to buy
Works.
them. Like,
People gotta
I'm
buy
making all
'em.
this stuff.
People gotta
Nobody's
buy 'em.
buying them. They want
If
all
you-
these shirts, but
If you
nobody's
buy
buying
more
them.
shirts, we'll put up more cool designs. If you continue not to buy shirts, and we'll slowly take away designs.
I mean, we already did. We've taken with some.
Not sure.
Could be a good idea to just start buying them ourselves and donating them to Savers or like Goodwill,
Use the
and
world.
just start seeing where they show up in the city.
Wait a minute,
I
where are
love
we?
that.
8 point, what? Oh, we haven't done it yet. They're telling me. Okay. Okay, so we're on 8.9. Wait a minute, which one is it?
Where am I?
Oh, we're doing it now. 8.9A, Councilor King.
Speaking of Beyond Wrestling, again, June 10th, everybody.
Yeah, okay,
There's going to be a wrestling show in the
Okay,
parking
so
lot
we're on
at Ralph's.
8.9A.
Daytime
We're gonna refer that
outdoor
to the
wrestling
Standing
show
Committee
put
on
on
Veterans
by Beyond.
Memorials. That is the
Look at that.
Lakeview Playground Master Plan.
It's gonna be so
meeting.
fun. I want to see if I'm gonna see because
And
so
B, which is transmitting
I'm
information
commentating
to
the Top Dog
149
competition.
West
We're
Worcester
announcing
Drive
it. Me and my
Master
buddy
Plan
Will
meeting.
Smalley,
It's also
and
going
I'm
to
gonna see if I
Veterans
can get a
Memorial
wrestler to
Parks
super
and
kick me.
Recreation. And
I think it could be really fun.
C, transmitting information communication.
Would they let
related
you
to the
commentate
Free
the
City
wrestling match
USA
too? Like
Award
leave the mics on, because that can also
2022.
you and Will
It's all
know
gonna be
wrestling.
placed
That would be
on file.
entertaining.
All in
Could
favor,
be
say
cool.
aye.
We'll
Those
see. I don't
opposed,
know.
so be it.
I mean, if
Okay.
anybody wants to listen to them talk about
Going
wrestling,
on
Check it out.
8
We just had a episode about championship belts.
Madam
Yes.
Chairman,
My dog is not impressed that I'm on TV right now.
said they were referred
Depressing.
to committee, but in your last comment, you said place them on file.
Oh, I'm sorry. My intent was.
You have to do the whole night
send-
over again.
I
Okay,
just
so
want
just-
that clarification. for the
Thank you.
record. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, if I can interrupt, so 8.9A and B is going to committee. Was 8.9 to be filed? C?
No.
Or you want them all in committee?
A, B, and C, we're sending them to Veterans Memorial Parks and Recreation. And that will be sent to Councilor Candy Merrill Carlson's committee.
Anyone that would dream of voting for Donna after watching performances like this
8.14,
is only proving themselves stupider than she is.
Adoption of an order authorizing the delivery of a deed.
I
from the
mean,
Worcester Redevelopment Authority.
they do
WRA,
that
to place
anyway
under the
with
care,
anything else that
custody,
comes out of
and
their
control
mouths
of the
generally.
Worcester Ballpark Commission.
Madam Chair.
Council Russell.
Madam Chair, I would just like the manager, if he could, to just tell us what we're doing here, because why is it going to the Ballpark Commission and not just back to the city?
yeah, Eric, what are we doing here?
Oh, sorry. Yes. You want to speak on it?
Through the chair to the counselor, it's going back to the city, but every parcel goes under the care, custody, control of some department. And the organizational ordinance creating the ballpark commission, it's an executive board, and it says it will have custody of the ballpark and the garage and any other properties that are developed as part of the ballpark project. So it's just named for them that they then have the custody of it.
So is it obviously, because he's through you, Madam Chair, and these type of things always make me smile because they go to different commissions or whatever, but then they come back to us to ask the taxpayers for the money for them. But it's to the
Yeah, that's how
Ballpark
government
Commission, but
works.
yet it's still in the administration, correct?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
Okay. And Madam Chair, through you to the city manager. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. is the ballpark making money?
No.
No.
$1 million
Do
question.
you not read anything?
All that kind of stuff. I just want to hear it from you.
It's
once
like
again,
Kate
but
reads
just
everything and he doesn't read anything.
Just briefly.
Through the chair to the council, yes, we currently are paying our bills. The ballpark is making money. The DIF is making money, which is paying off the debt of the ballpark currently.
So we're still on, through you, Madam Chair, we're still on target and there isn't any shortfalls or any shortfalls projected in your view in the immediate future.
That is correct. If we were projecting any shortfalls this current fiscal year, you would have seen some budgetary adjustments here asking transfer any tax levy dollars to offset that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
The shortfalls are for the future. So
Thank goodness for those towny takeover nights.
Okay. Anybody else?
Leave it to Auburn to bail out the city of Worcester.
Finally, pulling their damn weight around here.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Just so we can pay Holden.
Just a couple of questions here. The ballpark commission. I just want an explanation of what they're actually going to do regarding care, custody, and control. Through the chair to the administration, how many members serve on that board currently? Is it full, that commission?
City
Currently
manager.
full.
To the council, the current makeup of the board is full, but I would have.
Mike
to get
Angelini
clarification
holds
on
all
7
18
or 9
seats.
members on that current board, but the current board is full.
Thank you. I'd like a report back through the chair to this body on their meetings, their meeting notations, and what they're
They don't
actually
have
doing.
any.
I know that one of the things that's supposed to be happening over at
They've
Polo
met once
Park,
this year.
is that we have opportunities as a city for community events. Through the chair to the administration, what is the language of the agreement with the ballpark as relates
Can
to
someone
the number
ask
of
about
community
the out
events that's supposed
the
to be occurring
outfield door?
at the ballpark
That'd be nice.
per year
That is
for the city through the chair?
non-negotiable, never fixable, never. Nothing's
Chair
ever
to the
going to
council,
happen.
I'm actually going to correct my first statement. Is actually 7 members and the board is full. To answer this specific question, right now there are 10 days that are allotted for community events, community days, and those are available to community partners, nonprofit organizations, etc., who want to utilize the ballpark for any rental capacity in terms of meetings, events, etc.
And who initiates the accessing of those days? My understanding it was a commission through the chair to the administration. Who's responsible for that?
Through the chair to the council, that is part of the ballpark commission. Is very similar to the civics commission that we have for the DCU center. So when people want to,
Can I run a? Can I use the ballpark to run a 10-day Fallout 4 LARPing cosplay convention with the ballpark playing Diamond City, and then we set up a village inside.
they may want, but the
That sounds incredible and sounds like
That
a better
sounds
use of space.
amazing.
Right?
civic
And
commission.
That sounds amazing.
And I show up with a gun made out of screws and get in a power armor and decimate everybody.
Again, from the administration.
I would play an NPC. When I
How
used
many
to
of those
LARP, I
is
loved playing an
commissioners
NPC because you
actually
just go out, beat up some people, get killed, go back, pick a different mask,
how
go out,
those-
beat
the
up some
processing
people.
of those and the final
It's
decisions
really
have
fun.
has been determined. And a report back on what those events are. I would venture to say, Madam Chair, that if we're in season 3, I would venture to say that perhaps
Which Pokemon?
have not been 30 decisions made by this commission relative to these sorts of events we're speaking about. Do you know if last year we met the threshold through the chair?
I used to LARP as Snorlax, and that I would fall asleep in places I wasn't supposed to.
Be happy to bring it back a report.
Thank you. I'm very happy to have voted against this commission. I made it very clear repeatedly when it came before us that this is our responsibility to have oversight of.
What up,
this.
Mo? Yeah, it's been a very punishing, boring meeting.
Out in Pawtucket, there were
My
lawsuits
favorite Pokemon was always
because of the
Togepi.
conditions at that ballpark
good.
was allegedly
Like
and
Togepi,
reportedly
yeah.
left. And as a consequence, there were
Wednesday,
litigations.
May 31st at Polar Park
I'm not sure
is
what the
Friends with Benefits
My
night.
question to the chair, to the administration is.
Wait, really?
The heck?
Direct
Okay,
Yeah,
you-
so
you
it's somehow
terms of
like for
your,
benefiting the Leukemia and
and
Lymphoma
so,
Society. So I'm doing my best not to
has
make
there
a
been
joke out of it, but it's
plans
literally
to
called Friends with
release
Benefits night,
the information such as what I'm requesting?
which is awesome.
yeah.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Through the chair to the council, they do report to me. I also appoint all the members of the board. So they are responsible to all have oversight of a lot of the decisions that I'm making there. And that's something they would report back to me.
Well, keep trying, and I
issues
think
or
it's
situations in that. Also, we are
a
the
viable
landlord of that
strategy.
property, just like we are to the DCU Center.
I want to hear
So
everybody
it's
else's favorite
the city
Pokemon.
and to make sure
Mine
that
was
we're
Psyduck and
as a landlord
Snorlax. Those are my two favorite.
whether it's
Psyduck.
DCU Center
I like
or
because they're just
Silver
ridiculous.
Psyduck is pretty awesome.
If you're reading my mind,
Fine.
that's where I was going.
Yeah.
There's been some questions about.
I love the head tilt.
The
I love
capacities of
So cool.
the ballpark as relates to things like concerts.
It's actually good.
And I don't know how accurate that is. I've read in the media about, not being able to get certain equipment in there, and what have you. And I would just like an official and formal report back
asked
on
about
what
the
those
gate.
barriers are.
Kind of.
I don't think that we've had a concert.
They're just gonna have to build a permanent crane out in the outfield to like
I'd really
move
love an
equipment in.
opportunity,
A
and I'd
sick
like to make this in
ramp.
the form of
Let's
a
just
motion
ramp
the
that shit in.
administration takes a
Oh,
look at, getting that first concert going.
Just let the skate park kids build a ramp into the Polar Park.
If we had a zip line, we could use that.
He is one of the best in
See?
his profession. His
That's all we
native
need.
Worcester.
Solve all our
To
problems.
see if there's any capacity there. I know that there is a
Is
boxing
Christian
match
King
that's
gonna
coming
throw a
up
Joyner
that I did a
Lucas
great deal of
concert
work on,
through this
to
chair?
get going. That's outside of the
Don't do that, Christian. Joe Petty tried to do that and it lost him the
really like some
election.
feedback on how this is or isn't working. This is not a reflection on the city manager.
Jordan Lucas is
He made
election
decisions as a
poison.
body, to go this route. My only question I have to the chair, and this is perhaps to the clerk.
Could you imagine if you hired a
One of the motions
builder
I
to
made
build
way
you
back
like
when
your dream house?
was
Like you've
that
been talking about this house for 30, 40
facilities,
years. It's
ballpark,
all you ever wanted in
go
life.
under a specific,
And the house is done and the door they built you was too small and you couldn't fit in it. Like you, you couldn't actually use the house at all. Like your response to that would be a natural one. Like you'd go find a lawyer, like the one sitting up in the front corner of this particular room that we're watching
Mhm.
tonight. And you do something about it. You'd ask the door be fixed because your family can't fucking get in, and that's why you bought the house in the first place.
Yeah.
Or it's like your family can get in, but you can't fit any furniture in. So you're all sitting on the floor.
Except our city's
whether or not
response is just, well, we were inspired by the castles when people were smaller.
assigned if it's a rule change or
Guys, we have a fair poll, right? It's not a foul poll. It's a fair poll.
Oh,
in
that's
city,
right.
in our fair
The
city.
Counselor, my understanding is it has to be a rule change. I don't think the rules were changed. I know there was a motion in MLO committee regarding the diversity and inclusion officer.
Right.
That'd be, I think, be under your committee, so it has to be in a similar nature. If you'd like to place an order on the council agenda and then send it to committee to have a discussion on how to change that.
Right. So I think I probably was in error, and my intentions were right, but I think the wording of that motion some time ago was not fruitful and in error in terms of achieving what I want. So that would be my motion, that we look into a rule change. We want to make sure that goes to a committee. I think some of the conversation the past city manager had was that we didn't want to get involved in deciding these 10 events was one of the reasons for going in this direction. I certainly voted for the members, or voted to acknowledge the appointment of the members, however it worked at the time. And there's representation, my understanding, throughout the city. It's these things need to happen. And I want to know what those numbers are. I'm sure that you, in your capacity, will make sure that we're doing the right thing there. And, you know, I don't know what care and custody and control means for this body, this commission. I don't know what their capacity
If you click
is,
through
so
some
I'd
of the
like to
events
report back,
on the Polar Park
to the
calendar,
council as well as
like
what is
later in
actually the
June,
capacity of the commission. I know what
they're all great events, is I guess I should preface by saying, like, if you
But
read the
what
description of
really
them,
is
but
the
like later in
capacity?
June,
How
we
does it
have an event titled Girls on the Run,
over the last few seasons?
which
Thank you.
maybe the creepiest fucking thing I've ever heard advertised in the city of Worcester. It's a 5K, and it's a women's 5K. It's a
Madam
women
Chair,
positive 5K.
have a
It's a
I
great
thought it was
event.
an
now that
all-female
we are
Wings
on
cover
the
band.
But who
ballpark,
the fuck is naming these things?
My understanding is that when the ballpark was originally built, one of the suites there belonged to the city of Worcester. We have not, to this point, to my knowledge,
Been able to score free
have
ticks to
heard,
the suite.
has that suite been transferred? If so, to who? Because again, my understanding is that we as a city could not use that suite. So do we have the information on what is happening with that suite as it stands? Because I know the last time I was in the ballpark, that suite still had the city of Worcester's name on it. And quite frankly, I have a huge concern if it's something that we can't use. Why is it that it still says the
I wonder what she thinks that
through the chair to
like looks like.
administration?
The we can use it part.
Through the chair to the counselor, that suite has been turned back to the ballpark, to the team. And so part of the agreement is that they now kind of sell that suite to anybody that's available that can, and then that also is part of the.
So it remains empty, is what you're saying, Mr. Manager.
So through the chair to the manager, if that is, what they've done, why is it that they haven't taken our name off of that? I think that it's a bad look if under the, circumstances, we were told that we as a city could not use that. I don't think it's a good idea for everybody who's attending the ballpark to see the city of Worcester on the door. So if in fact they did sell it, I would say that, could we ask the question, remove
So you
our
don't want an honorary name
from-
plaque.
And I believe that we
Woo.
also have some pieces in there that we, the
That is
city,
the littlest
had
littlest
gotten to put
issue.
into
That's
that
even
suite.
lower than
I would think that we
honorarily
would
naming a
want those
street.
items back, and maybe those items go into
Oy.
the archives.
She's just concerned about the gangbang
The
that's
chair
going
of
to
the council,
happen
I
in
just
the
for
city
awareness,
council suite
it's
on
still
Friends
the
with
city
Benefits
suite.
night.
It's designated as a city suite, but because of the problems we had with
Going to
ethics law,
defile
how
all
to
those
use it,
city artifacts that were
the
donated.
Sox are renting it on our behalf, and we get the proceeds. But they've kept it dressed up as the city suite. It's like the allure of going and renting that suite. So that's why it is the way it is now.
It's
for one,
honorarily named.
Look, there's 11 of us. here.
Listen, I don't care about
for
ethics
one,
law. I just want our name.
don't think that that's a good idea, given the fact that we were told we could not use that suite. And if we're selling that suite,
It's a
Do they mean you
honorary
specifically
name.
as counselors
it's
can't use the suite because of ethics laws? Then you should be
Yes.
fucking finding kids or families to
Right.
use
And
it
I
at
think
every
every
game.
one of at least
You
Yeah.
psycho.
I believe
There
every
is
one
no
of my
shortage of
colleagues
people that
knows
would love to
we
go to that game.
cannot use
Right.
that suite. So if it's in a form
It
of
sure
a
sounds that way,
motion, I
Jess.
would ask
Yeah.
that we move.
I want to be able to sit
have
in
our
there
name
and drink
removed
my
from that.
overpriced beers.
Under the circumstances, and again, listen, I was all for the ballpark, and
Can't forget
I
those
believe
Dippin'
we've
Dots.
done the right thing as a city. I'm 100% on board, but
That was seriously when I
really-
went to Yankees games
I
for as a
don't
kid.
like the
Was the
fact
Dippin'
that our
Dots.
name is on there because last time I was there,
I
and
liked the
people were
oversized
asking,
box
"Oh,
of Cracker
what's
Jacks.
that for all of
Mm.
the city electeds and the officials?" And of which I didn't even know who was in that room. So again,
It was the gangbang.
I think if it can't be in a form of motion, I think we need to look as to how this process works to have our name removed from that. And again, I fully respect
Kenny Merle Carlson.
Oh
Through
my
the
God,
chair,
how many different ways are you going to say this sentence?
through the chair, petition to find out what's in it for
The
me.
second question
Right.
that I have
Now she has
is,
another question, guys.
I know that this ballpark commission was formed, and I know that it goes through the city manager. The second
That poor
question
rubber
that I
band.
have, and there was a bit of confusion at the last event that we went to, because there were some names on there as board members that came to the council. And quite honestly, that individual, I'll say one individual that does not
That's
live in
awesome.
the city.
I'm really
And I
glad to
thought
hear
the
that part,
rule was
because that's
for
that's
any
who they should be
boards and
serving.
commissions for us in the city of Worcester, that they had to be a resident of the city of Worcester. So if you, through the chair to the manager, if you could send the council a copy of those board members that's on the ballpark commission. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilor Toomey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to offer a suggestion, and perhaps
Oh, here we go.
we could have a communication with the Worcester Red Sox, the Woo Sox. Instead of having the city seal on the door, it could still be called the Worcester Suite instead of the City of Worcester Suite. Because I think that having the seal on there, I think Councilor Carlson makes a very good point. It looks as though we are getting preference. And so if it's just called.
And we're not, and I want the preference.
It's a little bit easier.
Remember that time the city of Worcester was threatening to sue people that used the city seal without their permission? It sounds like a pretty easy problem to solve if the lawyer
Right.
guy tried doing some lawyer stuff.
Yeah.
But the lawyer guys is into it.
As I listened to the
He got up and
conversation
defended
around
it.
the room,
The allure.
That's where he hangs out.
Yeah, he's pro monorail.
Our former city manager talking about how the city would have access.
We're putting
Are you
it
going to
up.
buy it, Fo?
Yeah,
Morgan?
Mo, are you going to buy one?
I'll put it
Well-
up tonight if you're going to sell it. If you're going to buy it.
If we'll put it up tonight. If there are no sales by Friday, then we're pulling it down.
I'm working on it right now. I ain't got nothing else to do. That shouldn't take too much.
And, be able to get their exercise in. This is going to be a community place, a place where, we're all, and.
Somebody shout out.
Tara,
if
you
the screen's
can't have my
frustrating.
burrito, Tara.
I don't think if I went and knocked on the door.
It's my burrito.
I don't think they'd let me in to go.
She's
do
doing
my
the burrito
lap,
thing again.
Get my track, step.
Putting
step
her
meter
nose
on my
like at
watch
the plate.
and the action on it. Already member of the public. I think these are things that need to be addressed.
She can't have the burrito.
these-
There's stuff in it that would make her sick, like tomato
remind my colleagues
and
of that.
onion.
This is something I think Councilor King and I don't remember who else, if any of us else, but I voted against the setup of the commission too. I thought it
Mo.
should stay here in the council.
Look at that.
Madam Chair, through you
Who
to,
wouldn't want to
city
buy that?
solicitor. What's the harm in having this go to the control of the city manager as opposed to the
How'd you show up,
control
Brian? I'm not
Yeah.
paying attention.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Because I think there are legitimate conversations here. This thing that Councilor Carlson brought up about the suite, that was in the contract. It was in the original deal.
I did. I
And
made her a dog safe one
makes me
2
kinda
weeks
scratch
ago.
my head too. So,
3 weeks ago.
Mr. Trainer,
Something like that.
through you, Madam Chair, what's the harm to having it go to the control of the city manager as opposed to the control of the commission?
Through the chair to the counselor, I don't think I would characterize it as harm. It's just more of an administrative function to have in all our other properties, to have a board, a commission, or a department have the day-to-day oversight and administration of it rather than the city manager. It could have been just placed on the city manager as general property of the city, but we followed the steps of all the prior dispositions of property or acquisitions of property. The ballpark commission, the liaison for that is the public facilities department. So in a sense, the public facilities department is the day-to-day arm of the commission that takes care of things. And then the commission has its meetings and does whatever business comes before the commission. But It could be changed to just say the Public Facilities Department, it could be changed to say the city manager, but just it has to rest somewhere.
I would recommend, Madam Chair, that this item be amended, that it goes to the care of the city manager. And through, obviously, the city manager has the authority to sign any contract, any whatever, but he also has to report back to the city council. And I think that might be the proper way. So I would ask, that'd be my formal motion to make that. Madam Chair.
If I remember correctly, this exact same fight happened back when we built the Centrum. It was like this really big deal that the council wanted to have some degree of direct control over the facility and how it was run, and then immediately abandoned that idea once they realized the math doesn't check out for any of this shit and wanted nothing to do with it. Now we have a civic center commission that like nobody even knows it exists. Right.
The Civic Center Commission.
There we are.
Design Selection Board and Upper Blackstone Water Pollution Abatement District. So I would suggest that would be maybe where this should be, is part of, just like the Civic Center Commission, that it should have some kind of a give and take and some kind of a conversation between the council and the administration, openly and publicly, about what's going on there. Madam Chair, my last question through you to Mr. McGurthy, who I see in the back of the room trying to study his papers, but I'm going to ask, on what page in our budget is the revenue that's coming in from the rental of this unit? Because I didn't see it. Is it there?
Through the chair, no, there are certain revenues that are deposited directly in the DIF. They don't go through the budget process. Advertising revenues and the sale of the suite or the rental of the suite are part of that. So when they're collected from the team collects the payments on a quarterly basis, provides that fund.
He's a dentist, Bo.
So it goes to paying the bills, if you will, paying the rental, so to speak?
Through the chair, that's correct. They go right into the DIF reserve. The DIF reserve is usually only for the bond payments.
Okay, but, and again, maybe, I remember Tom Zadellis and I used to always joke about the same.
Yeah, that was huge.
But I don't understand how, if we own it.
I feel like AEW is pretty big there. WWE is always draws pretty well there.
And they're also paying us this additional.
Those aren't really, options more than once every other year. But.
Yeah. It's not that we can't sell the place out. It's just that we can't actually get shows that people want to go to.
Through the chair, it does show up as a direct deposit into the DIF reserve. The DIF reserve is captured and audited as part of the city's financial statements. There are some revenues like tax receipts or permit fees or meals and use taxes that come through the budget process. Other revenues that go directly into the reserve.
I understand that, but through Madam Chair, it's
just got to be a strict numbers thing because
that's what I'm getting at. It shouldn't be applied to the
we're
balance.
so close to Boston.
The team owed us,
Yeah, it's the market. You can't book both Boston and Worcester.
Yeah, and then the difference in seats is it's not big. It's not much like somebody said, like the casinos. It's not bigger. It's not enough bigger than Mohegan to justify not going there. You make a lot more money at Mohegan.
And I'd like to amend this item to the control of the city.
I think that is the key. Call it the Centrum again, for real.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's where we went wrong. We should have kept it the Centrum, and we should have kept the Bay State Bombardiers at all costs.
Right.
With the amendment, Councilor Kane.
Yes, I just want to amend my motion, Madam Chair.
What's the capacity at the Centrum? Is it 6?
In committees and
I thought it was between 15 and 18 on how they use the seats, whether they had seating behind the stage or not.
Is it really? I thought it was like a level small. Like we lost like almost 10 by being a level smaller.
Clerk come back.
But you might be right.
Recommendation.
No, there was 14,000 people there for a recent concert. My sister-in-law works there.
There you go.
Yeah, it's 14.
The country concert.
Yeah. So for sports, for Celtics, it's 17 at the Garden.
Yeah,
I think. So concerts would probably be 21, 22.
City manager. you know, the spirit.
So
of
yeah,
this
there's not
particular-
enough.
I don't particularly have an issue with the city council or Worcester City. I don't care less because
there's a because part of it too is
that
like
we as a body
you're better
be
off
able
being
to
smaller
allow,
sometimes because
access
you can get
of the public to
you know,
that room,
you can get an act in that
so that they
wouldn't
can
sell out the
experience
garden,
things, right? Just
but would
like
want to sell out a
people
10,000 seat
cost,
arena
right?
or an 8,000 seat arena and
because,
do an arena show,
you know, when you think
but
about
you know,
different
not have empty
initiatives, you
seats.
think about you know, folks who are disadvantaged.
It'd be
you think
interesting to
about,
see how they
you
would
know,
place the
rewarding someone
stages
for
given
something
the
well done. So say
the
the North High
location
basketball
of
team,
the
whoever,
like yard
we have
area.
the opportunity to do exactly that.
Like, would
Now,
they just not sell that area and have their back to it?
you know, it's
or
Probably.
what?
Yeah.
we own the ballpark, you know, and in a sense,
The lawn.
we have a responsibility
Yeah,
with regards to
yeah.
oversight. And you know, I really want to continue to
I like going to
degree that we
concerts on
can,
lawns.
the public
Lawns
accessibility
are good.
that we have within our control.
I think it's too short though for it
attendance
not to be
and
worth
access to this room on behalf of
blocking
folks,
it
who may
basically.
not otherwise be able to.
You know,
So you know, I appreciate
it's not
this
enough seating
dialogue
there
and,
that it would be worth them
Sure.
like
to have
figuring
listened to
out
ideas
how to
as we
utilize it.
Yeah.
City manager?
That rules.
And then there's also the option of putting chairs on the field,
We are, you know,
which
let's be clear
increases the
that
numbers.
created.
I mean, usually, like Fenway will usually do GA. The stage will go up against the Green Monster. The field is GA, and then you sell seating as well.
And the uses of these spaces, I'd be more than happy to bring that in the report, just like it was requested, in terms of the number of days, how many people. the agency,
Joanne, I think it's one of those things where
opportunity to utilize that
it's
room
too
to
big of
have
an idea for Worcester, and no one. There'd be enough pushback that I don't know if it would get traction. You know, you look at Springfield doing it. We talked about it before. Springfield
the ballpark itself
trying
provided
things.
that access. I'd be happy to bring that back.
Me and Jess were at we went to the MGM last week for we stayed there the night before her graduation. She got her master's degree, everybody, by the way. Just
Through the chair, I just wanted to
master's in
make a
social work now. But we went to the casino. We stayed at the hotel. It's kind of cool the way they did it. I don't know if anyone else has been there. Like they just utilized existing structures and took them over and kind of incorporated them all into one thing.
For that reason.
And that way it's kind of the best version of that.
Councilor Russell.
For sure, but I don't think Worcester would do that. Worcester would, you know, clear cut whatever they needed to and build a, you know, an ugly building for 8 years
Through
and
the
then
chair to the
have
council,
it be under
needs to
capacity the
be
entire
a
time.
reorganizational ordinance submitted to the council, changing the care custody control from one place to another.
So moved. Either that or we can hold it and wait for the manager to come back with his report and get the details at that time. So, whatever is easier for the manager.
City manager, yeah.
Wait, what needs to be reordered?
So the request would be to me to come back with an ordinance, or in order to come back with a report in terms of those changes. And I understand in terms of what the request is, but my question back is, why are we doing something different than what the DCU Civic Commission currently does?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was in there last year.
City that we own different than another building. Which could then
The amount of work that needs to be done to bring that thing back, I think would be tough for a municipal operation.
Jake Sanders has been spackling those walls for like 3 years now, and he's barely made it out of the first floor entrance.
It absolutely should be and hopefully will be something cool that gets, you know, used. And I think under the way it's set up, I think the city will still have a stake in it in some way. But they really do need outside. They really do need outside investment in it. I don't think we can't even get a millionaire's tax going in the city. Like, and you know, like you would need a serious increase in it. Like you'd need a serious budget. It's pretty.
been my.
It's pretty rough
Yeah,
in
we
there.
would
And they never should have let
definitely-
it get that way in the first place. It's on the city for doing that for sure. But I think it's going to be mothballed for quite a long time, and I am pulling for him.
My point in
But
general, Madam Chair, is very simple. is that
There's also the other
this
theater
ballpark
downtown that I think
has been,
really deserves,
you know, a big
after
item
failure
of
and failure and
citizens
failure
of
of
the world.
organization and
It's been a
group
great,
people
great,
to
positive
repair
thing.
it
But it's
and bring it
also
back.
something that has to be as transparent as possible.
They just
It's
that place
something
just
that
keeps
we-
getting the
we
short
can't-
shift.
the
I want to. We got to get in there. I think we got to take a look at that place because.
It's a nice room.
And it's supposedly there was a decent amount of work that went on in 2021, right? That
Yeah,
got
they
it.
did some work in there.
So I think I'd be really curious to see like how close it is, because you're right. That is another one that it's like wasting this potential.
We're doing it. We're, you know, continuing to.
Yeah, that
follow
one's
the
not
North
in
Star that
as
Augusta
big
used
of a
to
state
say.
of repair because it
And
has
that's-
been used
I think
intermittently
that's
over
why
the
this
years.
has to be very, very transparent and very, very public. If it goes through the commission.
All right.
so
Now
far,
I got a question, and y'all are probably
not
gonna
been-
laugh at me as
I mean,
being
I
a former
haven't
out of
seen any
towner.
articles about it. I haven't
How the hell do you
read it,
pronounce the
whatever,
music
I'm
venue
a member of
that
the
is
public
slightly up the
body,
street
yeah,
from
so I
that
think
concert?
That's part
The
of what my
the
concern
the
is. It
theater
isn't a
there.
stretch. I'm not trying to
No
get into-
Amsco or whatever the hell it
Oh,
is.
I always call it no mesco.
No Mesco?
No Mesco is
But
what I've
that's
heard.
but
Okay.
that sounds like a college like dining hall like
Yeah.
company. Supposedly the initials of all the owners
This council's not surprised.
mixed into one name, but
makes
no
sense.
mesco is what I've always called it.
So back to the administration. That's my.
So I do recommit it back to the administration.
Okay.
So, Councilmember
Cool.
Carlson.
Because we drive past
Madam
it like
Chair, I'm all set,
regularly.
given the
Because
fact that
I use
Councilor
that to go
Russell
across
has
town.
amended
But
his motion.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
There's
It's a weird name.
Take this item, we're gonna
there's
recommit
tunnels
it
in the
back
basement
to
there
the
that run down
administration, And then we're gonna
under
approve the
Main Street.
motions that is been brought forth on this item. Roll call, please.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nian?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair Kaloria?
Yes, so 8.
Did you see did anyone else see the caption on that one?
Held on privilege.
Commander in shirt, Kaloria.
Item is, 8.22A, transmitting information communications.
oh god, we're only
relative
still
to
in
the
the
schedule of
eights.
the upcoming Memorial Day activities in the city. All in favor, I'm going to file this. Say aye. Those opposed?
I'll be right
So
back.
be it. Okay. 8.27.
You're not gonna miss anything.
A, recommend city council's approval for the lease of space for the Worcester Public Schools Alternative School. We're going to adopt that on a roll call. Roll call, please.
Madam Chair.
I
prior-
love
um,
how this came up
Mr. Clerk, I need to recuse.
months ago on the
Recuse
school committee.
Councilor Rose.
But because now it's on the city council
Okay,
agenda,
roll call, please.
Councilor Bergman?
everyone's talking
Yeah.
about it.
Councilor King?
Like,
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
maybe the news
Nian?
needs to pay attention to the
Councilor
school
Rivera?
committee meeting.
Councilor Rose recused
That would be
himself.
nice.
Councilor Russell? Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair Kaloria?
Yes, okay, on finance items, 8.636A through F.
Madam Chair, I
Yes,
need to recuse myself on B.
on B. Okay, so we'll take B out of order, so 8.36.
All right, cool kids.
Just the
Available
tone-
now. Oh,
Just
go
the
ahead.
tone in George's voice made it sound like he needs to recuse himself because the pasta and meatballs from before the meeting didn't sit very well.
8 through A through C.
I'm not
We're
feeling
gonna
very
adopt on a
good.
roll call.
It was a spicy one.
Councilor Bergman?
These are available right now
Councilor King?
on
Yes.
the
Carlson?
WCT3K.storenvy.com.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair Kaloria?
Yes, then we're gonna do 8. recuse
Yeah,
yourself,
I
Mr.
put them as
Councilor
unisex.
Russell. 8.
And then I even added the size guide on there so you can actually see what they
On a roll call,
measure.
please.
I'm trying to make it as forward facing as possible.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor
It's a
Haji?
Bella canvas shirt, so they're
Yes.
softer
Councilor King?
and a little tighter, but very, very comfortable and soft.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Nice.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell recused himself.
I also
Councilor
take
Toomey?
requests here. So if you guys want a
Yes.
certain piece of
Madam Vice
clothing,
Chair
we can
Corey.
put it on there.
Yes. Now, 8.39 A through C, advertise proposed loan order. Roll call, please.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair Corey.
Yes. 9A, refer to Public Works. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. 9B to 9V, adopt. Those in favor, say aye. Those opposed, so be it. And now on to the orders. 10A, request city manager hold a discussion with local insurance companies to identify ways to reduce insurance rate for cars in the city. Councilor Toomey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to amend that.
How is it a
to,
thing that we
not
can even
just,
do?
Limited to cars, but vehicles.
Vehicles, okay.
Yeah. And, you know,
Amended.
it's insurance in the city is incredibly high. And perhaps the insurance companies may have.
It's
some
really not that high
how we
compared to a
can,
lot of areas of the
mitigate,
state.
some of those costs by taking some measures of some sort. I just can't believe that, you know, we have to deal with all this. It's my understanding that a lot of it has to do with accidents and theft and all of that. But I think there are certain areas of the city where there aren't an awful lot of thefts and not a lot of accidents. So
The reason our insurance rates are much higher than they should be, and to your point, Yenni, there are places that pay a lot more, is the accident rates are based on the geography. And as we all know, 290 runs through the city. So all the accidents that happen on 290 are figured into the calculus that sets our insurance rates for us. We don't actually have the reported accidents that the insurance companies use as our basis. They're people that passing through Worcester. Could be a tractor trailer that's long haul that takes out 15 cars from Auburn, but it happens on 290. We eat the numbers.
I support our parks. Worcester has a great history of parks. Elm Park was arguably the first public set aside funds for a park in America. I believe we have 62 parks, and each one of those parks is deserving to be where it is. And I hope someday we double that and have 124 parks. So this order is not about limiting parks. It's about where we are today. Where we are today is tight budget constrictions. Where we are today is a number of parks that need to be maintained, upgraded, and completed. We're looking for more rectangular parks. We're looking for more parks that contain pickleball courts. And quite frankly, I agree with everything
No.
the caller said.
We're not
about
looking
this
for
item
that.
Except for his conclusion. His conclusion is
Honestly,
we don't
there's
need more
actually a lot of
more new
people that are looking
parks
for
than we
more
just
pickleball
financed.
There's like
courts.
20 times more people who are looking for more skate parks, bike parks, and actually
wish
cool
that was the
things that
reality,
involve people who are
One of
still
the
alive.
things I think I taken pride in the fact that I like to say it the way it is, and I don't like expectations to be misleading. We're not going to have enough funding this year to finish all the parks we already have. I've checked with each one of my colleagues in the district councilor colleagues before I put this order on to make sure there were no new parks in the pipeline, and there aren't any. So to me, this is an appropriate time to take a deep breath, take a pause. I don't think we actually have ever really determined how much does it cost to upkeep a particular park. Perhaps we can take a good look at that.
Excuse
and get a better idea of where we're at. I think all of us receive postcards in the mail.
Do you
with
really
master
think that the
plans
Parks
about
Department
what's gonna
doesn't
take
have those
place with our
numbers?
parks. And despite the best efforts of our Parks Department, and they do a great job, DPW.
Exactly, Tara.
And others.
Exactly.
We don't have the resources to finish what we started. And I think we need to finish what we start before we can move on. Nobody's suggesting this moratorium's indefinite. Nobody's suggesting that if a great new idea comes along for a new park, we can't simply lift the moratorium. But with no new parks in the pipeline, with a tight budget this year, and with a lot of existing
But we do
parks
have
needing work,
new
I think it's an appropriate
developments
time
in the
to
pipeline.
stop, take a deep breath, finish.
So are
what
you
we
just
started,
saying no
with
new
existing
acquisition of
parks, and
parkland?
take a period of time before we move forward with any new
Like,
park.
this is
Again, I
such a
just wanna reiterate,
stupid.
this is pro parks. This is finishing to the best of our ability the parks we already have, without the need to have to expend more resources and more energy on creating new parks and forgetting about the ones that have remained uncompleted. Again, I look forward to the day we have enough financing to do old parks and new parks. I think we can take a short pause and figure out what financing we need to move forward on the existing parks, and perhaps that will help us in the future to create new parks. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Councilor Candy Merrill Carlson.
Yes, Madam Chair. I rise for a friendly amendment here, that this moratorium shall not include any work being planned or performed in the existing 61 park projects in Worcester. And again, I think there's confusion over how many parks we have. The number is 61 from the Parks Department today. I, for one,
So Mo can't even get
am
his numbers
one of the
right.
counselors who, quite frankly, I
Shocking.
ran on parks when I first ran for city council. I'm committed to our parks and all of what we need to do and continue to do. I'm okay with if we're saying we're not going to do and look at any new
Dog
additional
needs to go
parks.
out, so I'll be right
But
back.
I just want
Good
us
luck.
to be
That-
clear.
that is what
and
he's
I think
saying.
Council Bergman has
Yeah,
said
that's
this,
exactly what he's saying.
this, what he's looking to do
I expect to come back to
is
the same.
not any new additional parks that we don't currently have. And I think that there's sort of like a miscommunication here, because as this is being talked about, there's several new parks, although
Maine South Mom, speaking of recreation issues that resources that people actually want. I met an old timer at the bar at the Boynton yesterday having lunch, who was telling me that there's a whole network of old school bootleg motocross tracks behind Great Brook Valley
went in there
that they
and
used to ride on in
we're
like the
about
60s
to
and
do
70s.
the opening
Wow.
for
That they're still there. They're like, I guess they're used by
This
some
one
people as
was
like hiking
to
trails and whatnot,
the
but they were
Grant Square. When
like
Grant
legit
Square
motocross
was
tracks.
done, it was already a
Interesting.
park, but
I know the
Grant
city would
had been
never
done
let that
for
fly, but
years
it would
and
be
years.
amazing
So
if
I
they
think
figured out a
that
way to open
there's
that up and let like the
sort of
508
this
bike life kids take that shit
communication
over.
issue around
Right.
parks, because we have 61 existing parks today, which
I want to circle back to
include
this. Where
a
exactly
Shell
was this nomad?
which if you
We're
were
just gonna
looking
let that
for
slide.
Shell Park, you would never find it. Because for the past 50 years, nobody has used that park. It has grown, it's overgrown. You can't get in there, even if you wanted to. So I just want us to be very, very, very clear that this item does not affect our current 61 parks that we have in the city, and we will continue to do the work on those parks because there are.
Am I going crazy? That's what the fucking thing says. That we're going to concentrate on the parks before making new ones.
Right.
Before me in my committee at this point, we have several parks
Oh my
that
God.
have done
Shut the
master
fuck.
plans, and as the Parks Department gets grant opportunities, they're going to apply.
Yeah, I want to
for
know
them.
which parks you
Some of them
are
will be in
inaccessible
those
because they're
parks that have
overgrown.
not been utilized for a lot of years. So I hope that I've
I'm not saying there
cleared
isn't. I
this,
just
that I
feel like we
do
know.
not want us
Right.
to
Well, in other
not
news,
continue to do
this
Nice.
is now on a Raglan style
in
shirt
our
for Epic.
current
On the store
existing
right now.
Perfect.
61 parks.
This one too.
And thank you,
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilor King? All right, Councilor Rose.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to offer another quick friendly amendment to just clarify things a little. We have in District 1, we have Shore Drive, well now District 2, the transition.
Nah, man, that's the
For a
design.
while, we
Buy it or
had,
don't.
Shore Park,
This is getting
we have
annoying.
Roberto Clemente, we have Morgan Landing, we have Place and Beach. All of these different parks have.
We have
master
to
plans.
differentiate it from the
And I would just
from the
in
Hellfire
amendment,
Club.
those parks.
Well,
that
no,
have
because to
master
do it
plans,
invert, I'd have to
because my
redraw it with a
understanding
different
is
thing.
in
It's
Yeah,
just a
no,
whole
no,
other
no.
thing.
I'm saying I'm giving us a story
Get out.
reason.
Yeah, with
master
you.
plan associated with the project in order to get those funds. So I would hate to
This shirt is in the
not
upside down.
be
Okay, Eric.
proactive and trying to get some of this funding for the ones that we have master plans in. And we have 149. Again, these are all now in Council Carlson's district in the transition year. But I'm guessing that outside of that,
I'm sensing that I need to take a break. I'll be right back.
there's a whole site that we have in
That was a little bitter. Sorry, guys.
Go get some ranch dressing.
It's yeah,
of
ranch
dozens
dressing in
and
the
dozens
form of
of parks.
nicotine.
I just would I can appreciate the current 61
I could hear while I was outside.
the
I'm
improvements to those
taking it
parks
right
not
back
being
out again.
installed,
But the
and also,
parks that are completely
keeping,
overgrown, Coal Mine
being
Brook and
mindful of those that we
149,
have master
are both
plans.
like completely
That's
overgrown,
all incorporated. I
impassable.
think anything beyond that would be
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah. I've always like
outside our means given our budget constraints.
always wondered what the deal is with that because it shows up on
component to it. The
Google
local
Maps and there's a sign on the road. But yeah,
Councilor King?
there's nothing to it.
Thank you, Madam
That's our
Chair.
municipal tick breeding field.
Yeah.
You know, I think that a number of these amendments have significantly watered down.
It,
this
along
order.
with the 149, were both
I just
supposed
got
to
a
be dog
question to the
parks.
chair, to the administration.
Right.
Are we aware of when the last time we created a new park that had no association with a master plan?
City manager?
Eric just froze.
Yeah, and no, there was already a park there, and there was a park that was taken down. So, through the chair to the council, I'm just trying to think through here. We have so many parks, so many years.
Yeah,
I'm not fully aware.
Yeah, it's not coming to you. Yeah,
I think one of the newest parks that we built, but it's not currently under the jurisdiction of the Parks Department, is the Pickett Park this year. But that's not currently under the Parks
Thank you.
jurisdiction. And then
Yeah.
we also created dog parks, but the majority of those dog parks are located within the
Right.
parks itself. So I don't think there's been. I can't recall the last park that we added that we haven't had in the books or we haven't had a master plan.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to figure out this particular order. I'm a bit confused. You know, I think because when you get down to it, the majority of these projects have master plans, which is why they move forward, and they get completed to one degree or another. You know, and I
Jessica, even on
brought
that
this
end, it's staffing that's the issue. I just
times
kind of
parks
went
and
through this
maintenance
with
of parks.
my son. He just got hired by DCR as a lifeguard. I mean, they paid for the training, and he's looking to be making roughly $25 an hour, and got to pick the beach he wanted to work at for the summer as a lifeguard.
And I
It's
think there's actually an item
the money
on
that the state
here
is throwing around
from
just to
finance,
fill slots that they need
related to
is
parks.
ridiculous.
Maybe I'll be a lifeguard this summer.
They're expecting them to be hitting $30 by the end of the
I'm just
summer.
going to amend that a bit because it should reference the word maintenance plans. And that's item 9. And request the city manager, request the assistant commissioner of public works, provide city council with a report detailing the park department's master. The amendment would be maintenance plan regarding new fields and fields that have been completed. Further request, asking the assistant commissioner of public works and parks to include and report a staffing analysis for the parks department. We talked about this at length in committee. We talked about the number of staff, the difficulty, and the way that our citizens and our leagues and our residents and folks who come in and use those.
Do they let lifeguards wear a T-shirt into the pool?
Kick in. I think that's what's at the crux of this.
And water wings.
The crux of this.
But they're municipal
is,
water wings. They're state
as I've
state
stated
supplied.
before,
They're not very comfortable at all.
I asked Finance just last week, how much money have we invested in our parks over the years? Councilor Carlson has absolutely ran on parks. I've been on that committee, I think the entire time I've been on council.
There's no
And
sense
there's
of
a
irony at
way
all
to
in
focus.
play here. These
I think the
folks
focus
talking
on
about how they all
we
ran on
manage
parks.
my
And now they're sitting here tonight
spirit.
discussing what a
But I
shit
think
show
the
all the
essence
parks
of
are.
this,
Tell us why
Okay,
you
so you're
shouldn't
not
have your job
effective.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to think on this a little bit. I'm going to hold it and really think about what we're actually saying here. I think what I've done kind of gets to the crux of the matter, but I'm not comfortable voting for a moratorium on the idea of parks.
Well, if
Because I'm
that's
not
towards
sure
me,
what that really
no, but
means. Is
he
there need to
tunes
be a
into the
park
stream every once in a
regulars or
while.
not? I know all that stuff is there, maintained,
Hell yeah.
upgraded.
I would never
The
force
teens
this
love
shit
us.
upon him. Yeah, I would never force
don't know
this
that
shit
we should
upon him.
tie the hands of the city manager. We don't know what down the line, what sort of grant may come to our attention, what sort of earmark we can achieve if in some space there's a new park that can be created. And given the fact that we haven't done that in
Well, thank
recent memory, I don't know that
very
we
kind.
need this sort of order.
Yeah. And what am I like?
You know, I'm going to withdraw my hold. We're just going to let this go. I just have some concerns. We let it go
You
with
just
the
wasted
motions.
half hour of all your
Let's
lives.
hold it then. If you have concerns, then hold it.
You know, I'm not going to vote for it. Let it go forward. I'm sure there'll be only one vote in opposition. I just don't think we should be.
Why not
pushing any
hold
sort
it?
of
Like, what's the fucking
moratorium
harm in holding
on
it?
quality of life in parks. Thank you.
Councilor Bergman, would you welcome this being held with the amended language of?
Well, I'd certainly welcome the.
Wait a minute, Councilor Carlson mentioned.
I have no issue with the amendments. I did my best to try to make it clear with the language I use. We're only talking about new parks, not existing parks. But if there's any confusion, I certainly understand that my colleagues have been very proactive in creating parks, and I don't want them to be hampered with any suggestion that this might affect existing parks. So I'm certainly amenable to any of those suggestions. If there's a hold, then the person asking to hold it certainly entitled to hold it. So okay, thank you. So this would go to parks, I think, or maybe it goes to the administration. But regardless, moratoriums aren't permanent, and they certainly can be removed at any time they need to. And
So
my
then why
understanding and
put it
recollection-
in?
By the way, if I misspoke, I thought I heard 62 parks last.
If you're saying
there's
like we can
61,
just
I stand
remove it,
corrected.
then why
I
make
certainly
it?
don't know all of them. But my
Why make it a
understanding
thing?
also is that some of the dog.
Do y'all
parks, I
remember
think,
when
are
we
taken
watched
over
them
by
eat
the,
and it was actually
the
more
way the
productive
ballpark.
than any of the shit they're
Can't
doing
envision
here?
that being corrected by existing parks. So again, I think there has been the creation of some new parks. But then again, if there isn't, then I don't see any harm to moratorium. Because
I was watching the stream outside while smoking a cigarette, and you wearing a T-shirt into the pool while being a lifeguard made me laugh out loud, and I upset dogs in my neighborhood.
Lastly, I would simply say that
you.
the name of a park has changed. I certainly intended the existing park to be.
I really want to do like a
whatever that name
Baywatch style
currently
commercial
is, as long
of
as it
Bryan
existed.
as
I'm
the,
not suggesting there'd be a moratorium on any
or like,
park.
could we do a
The name
hiring
has changed
commercial, like
now
hire more
over
lifeguards,
time.
and it's Bryan?
I just think we're in a financial situation.
I saw
now where we have to
Epic.
pay
I'm sorry I was
particular
spicy, buddy.
attention to making what exists as best.
I'll
as
do
it
my
can be
best to
get
make
a
it more.
sense of what it really costs to make each park the best that it can be. And I think if we discuss new parks at any time in the future, it has to be with the understanding that there's some sort of funding mechanism available. And at that point in time, we can certainly lift the moratorium. and move
So we're
forward.
basically doing the debt ceiling, but with parks.
Yeah. The amendment.
These parks can't pay for themselves.
Council, so if we amend it and
Start
send it to
charging
committee,
fees.
that would be-
It would. My ask was to the administration, so I'm not involved in any way.
Maybe the city could start issuing camping permits to unhoused folks.
Are they willing?
Start
to
generating
amend
some
to
revenue
Council Carlson?
for improvements to the parks.
God forbid they find
Counselor
any fruit-bearing
Russell.
trees in any of these parks.
Okay.
Madam Chair, that was going to be my suggestion.
Okay.
Because I don't feel comfortable with the word moratorium either, but I have no problem with the committee having a discussion.
Okay.
I understand what Councilor Bergman's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that we're spending as many assets as we can to improve the parks that we have.
Okay. Going to amend and send to
They misplaced 6 of them.
all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
So be it. Okay.
Does that include or not
Right,
include
City.
Boynton Park? Because technically
Request
it's not
city
even
manager
in
provide
Worcester.
City council with
Yeah,
a
it's
report
back.
concerning the timeline for implementing a
I
remedy.
love that we have a park
parking,
that's not
pedestrian,
in
and
the
student
city.
safety issues at Roosevelt Elementary School located at 1006 Grafton Street. Councilor King.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually attended a meeting over at El
Saints, if you go to wct3k.storeenvy.com,
This issue
you'll
came
see
up.
all our
the link in
shirts
the
are available
chat.
there.
Discussion about
Made it nice and easy.
Hell yeah.
some property that was in the possession of the city that we were looking
Thank you.
to perhaps use for Roosevelt. I know that Councilor Russell has worked for quite a long time on this, even securing crosswalks in memory of folks who passed away over there, and worked extremely hard on that, as of others. I think Councilor Toomey's worked on this stuff, and perhaps Councilor Colorio. But I wanted to get an idea, and I ended up that same day at one of the new barber shops in South Plaza. A friend of mine opened up that I talked to, and I went over to the new Starbucks. And, it brought back, it reminded me of the challenges there.
I think
as a
the
social
Commenters
worker,
Union shirt might be perfect for that.
Sometimes I have young folks there that I have to pick up or go
That's
in
one
for
to wear
meetings
before
or-
you give your notice, just to give scare the shit out of your bosses who don't read closely.
Traffic was backed up from the front of Roosevelt all the way down.
Yeah, I think wearing that.
Chaotic. And I know that there's
And then listening to a lot of Johnny Paycheck
and we had
at the same time might be really
on
helpful.
education. I think Monday night, where this came up, and the school indicated that between that school and I want to say they said Burncoat and Burncoat Middle, that they're looking at the amount of $2.5 million was the amount that they gave to rectify things in this area. I'm not quite sure. I'm a bit out of that loop. What that would entail. With regards to Roosevelt School in particular, this item really is calling for a time frame. If I can find the thing here, it's calling for
It's
time
a computer or
Yeah,
some
we took ourselves out of the
Calling for a
equation
time frame
based on
and a
how the
timeline
Kelly
to
Square
remedy
shirts went.
Because
I
Bill
saw
did a-
one of those in the wild
I
the other
keep
day,
hearing
though. It
it's
was
in the
awesome.
works.
Hell
Through
yeah.
the chair to the administration, has many
Bill did a great
communications
job with those, but it was just the most
not aware of
complicated
it,
version,
go back
and
report
he
on
kind of
this
got
file.
dogged out by the company.
May not have come to you recently regarding Burncoat Middle, and in this instance, Roosevelt, with dollar numbers from the school department.
That's a great question.
I don't think
City
so,
manager.
but I don't know.
School committee, yes. I mean, yeah, school department. Sorry.
Do you have a Shopify?
Through the chair to the council, this is, one of the first times I've heard about that number.
I think
That
you,
number was
I think
not,
you
has not been
pulled
communicated
some stuff down, but
other than what was communicated to me most recently, because that was something that was brought up at one of the neighborhood meetings.
Okay.
These will be available
again,
soon.
that came out in our education committee.
On Bill's store.
Those numbers on Monday. And, do we have an idea of,
looks like they're still on his
we're
big
going to do?
bill.
And again, do we have property there that
Hell
we're
yeah.
using that we purchased?
There's a bumper sticker too.
What's
That's the best
plan
place to wear
for the remedy through the chair as it relates to Roosevelt on the city side?
Through the chair to the council, there was a property that the city
Bill
purchased,
loves bumper stickers.
on the side of
true.
Sunderland Road, the upper side of the rear side of the Roosevelt School.
This
It's
one?
the only way he can hide
That
his
was
catalytic
I
converter.
prefer bumper
Russell,
magnets.
Council Toomey here on the floor. And
Magnets are
You can get
nice.
magnet material on
the city acquired that
any-
property. We paid $600,000 to acquire that property, and part of the agreement of the deal was that we would acquire the property, and then the school.
I had a girlfriend
will
in
contribute
college
their portion
whose
to it,
dad wouldn't let her
kind of
put
build
a
out that
feminist
space
bumper
to-
sticker
to
on her
create
car.
another
So
flow of
I
traffic,
set it up as a magnet
for
for
that
her so
school.
she wouldn't get in trouble.
The traffic pressures.
Nice.
We've added we've added a sidewalk, we've added flashing lights in that area.
Well-behaved women rarely make history, and he was adamant that it couldn't go on her car because it would devalue it.
Again, there's a property there that
He
we had
ruled.
purchased,
That was always my family's thing, like no bumper stickers because it would devalue the vehicle. I'm like, I'm driving a freaking 1992 Subaru that's been in 7 crashes and has had its engine rebuilt 3 times. I don't think it's going to devalue the car, but okay.
To work with the city, and I'll speak with you.
How much you want for that Subi?
To work with the city.
Yeah, your Subaru sounds badass.
Oh, it is
and,
dead. It is very dead. My sister crashed it into a sign on the hutch.
Really getting a
That's too bad.
putting it on the table. Let's have a goal.
Brendan, don't you already have a car you need to fix up?
I'm working on it now. That's yeah.
And others was
I hear come see it.
gaining additional properties. I'm looking for a timeline, Madam Chair. And,
I found a guy down in
it's also
Milford
having
that's going to flash a new ECU for me. Should be all set Thursday.
You're there. I mean,
Nice.
blocking the entryways to many of the businesses that are adjacent. You got young folks running across driveways where folks are coming out, and it's a challenge. We're in the city, right? We're in the city, and that's a challenging area over there on Grafton Street. So anything you could do to expedite this and get us a timeline, even if it's a projected timeline, I think that'll serve well for the interests of the constituents and the folks that I've been in communication with.
Epic Stratton. If you are shopping around for exhausts, Lou's Custom Exhaust down on Harding Street. Folks down there are incredible. I don't know if you're willing to actually invest in it or whatnot, or you're just looking for something cheap, but they do really good work down there. I'm planning on bringing my motorcycle to them in a couple years to do a full custom job.
One big thing that I'm disappointed in is that he actually went to El Basha and he didn't invite me. I'm really very upset with him. But, this item, Madam Chair.
Mr. Madam Chair.
That many of us here on the council floor have talked about time and time again. This is an item that we all, councilors, at least those of us that were here in previous terms, advocated to the administration to come up with the money to buy extra land, to come up with a plan. This former administration, City Manager Augustus, negotiated a deal. The city paid $600,000, $600,000 for a piece of land adjacent to the parking lot. That land was turned over to the custody and control of the school department years ago, pre-COVID. It has sat there on the desk of this deputy superintendent till now. I have been on and on and on, and so has Councilor Toomey, and so have many of the other councilors in this room.
Absolutely.
So is the administration.
Absolutely.
This is a public safety catastrophe waiting to happen on Grafton Street. I sent an email a couple weeks ago to the manager, to the superintendent, to the captain of the police department, to just about anybody that will listen to me once again, because I was stuck in traffic. Because when a car, only one car, decides they're going to make a left-hand turn in or out of any one of those businesses, you've got gridlock on Grafton Street. Stop and think about that. Route 122, Grafton Street. Route 122, Grafton Street at a complete gridlock. If an ambulance ever tried to get through there, if a fire truck ever tried to get through there, it wouldn't happen. And make no mistake about it. If this was a private business that was creating this traffic safety hazard, they would have been shut down a long time ago. The captain from the police department went out there and knocked on doors, talked to all the businesses again, went in and talked to the principal. I met with Representative Donahue and Representative Keefe maybe 8 months ago with the deputy superintendent. At that time, he showed me the plan, what he had for a parking lot for 30 or 40 spaces. He said that the price tag on that parking lot to add 30 or whatever parking spaces to expand that parking lot.
Sounds good, man.
was
South
$2
Mom.
million. And that was the number then. That to me is like telling me, we really
Also,
don't have the
shout
money
out
for it
Gene
right now.
Costello.
All the
Thank you for
requests
buying a
and
shirt.
all the asks that there are.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cut down whatever weeds that are there. and utilize it for rough
They
parking
bought
as
a
I've requested
commenters union shirt.
many times? No, they have not.
They asked if what shirt they should buy to wear to give notice at work.
Oh,
And they
hell
they say
yeah.
that one.
Use temporary.
And I think it's really important that you play the song "Take This Job and Shove It" by Johnny Paycheck as you do
Staff
it.
to park there so the traffic would flow.
They went
in
through
and
on
out
my
of the
side,
parking lot?
so thank
No,
you
they
so
did
much.
Hell
not.
yeah.
Did they take my recommendation to walk across the street to the fish market and knock on his door that has a very large parking lot and ask them if they would be interested in leasing some spaces for staff? No, they did not. Madam Chair, I spent a little over an hour with the principal at Roosevelt Grammar School weeks ago, a week or two ago.
Oh, we might need to put up another shirt with all of our faces on it then. For you to
She said more than anything, she's just as frustrated as any of us are.
Yeah, love Worcester Council.
Is that what the situation is that they need more than anything, not only a place to get some of the cars out of the parking lot so they'll have more spaces for cars to wait there in the lot, but also a second exit. Because we never saw this problem before at Roosevelt School when the school was first built. We didn't see this problem even 5-6 years ago it started. And the reason, what she explained to me is because the population has grown so much at Roosevelt, which is a good thing. And that there have been many new students, including many handicapped students, who need the
All
handicap.
right, George is
vehicles
wearing
to pick
2
them
rings,
up.
and neither one of them are a
So,
wedding band, right?
Madam Chair, I sat on
Yeah.
Sunderland Road and watched the
And he's wearing them on his
traffic
middle
multiple times,
fingers.
recently as last week.
Don't
And
ask
when
questions
one
you don't want
vehicle
answers
stops
to,
pick
Travis.
up a child, whether it's an able-bodied child or a child that's needs handicap assistance, that whole line stops.
I mean, if it's getting me to pay attention,
That
it's
line goes
working.
all the way to Stop and Shop, waiting in traffic. That line stops. It's a single line flow. The school department could make a way to get 2 vehicles out of that parking lot right away.
George
They
Stephen,
should have
you're
done
on
it
screen
years
right
ago,
now, and
and
this
I've
is
been
about as much
advocating for
interest
them
as
to
we've
do it
had the
again.
entire evening.
And here, I've asked the city manager, has there been a request here? Has there been a specific?
I know it's
dollar?
a sensitive subject with parents, but like we have a real issue in this city with parents who insist on driving their kids to and from school and like never letting them out of their sight. Which is also like a really new thing. And a lot of school principals play into it where they try and make the argument that walking isn't safe at all. Which
Counselor
it
Toomey.
obviously isn't
Thank you,
because we don't
Madam
have
Chair.
crosswalks in the city. But I mean, like if we
My,
actually
district
did that,
councilor
like
spoke
then it would be.
eloquently. My daughter was at that school for kindergarten in 1992, I believe. So I'm very familiar with the
doxing
issues
your
with
daughter.
traffic and parking and
Yes, because nothing has
walking and all of
happened in
that with
21
Roosevelt
years.
School, when I was on the school committee.
It's all of the schools like
It's
dismissal
31
plans.
years, buddy.
Or 31. Yeah, I'm not math. I'm
A lot more parents are driving their children to school.
Oh no, I wish it was
And I've
21
been
years.
In that
What were you saying, Brian?
almost
All this dismissal plans for all of the schools are awful. I say it every day. I live
where nobody
between
was moving anywhere.
3 schools,
school,
and
really,
every day at 2 p.m. I just,
and
if I'm not
it's
already out of the
more
house, I don't leave. I can't leave.
dangerous. I would like to know. It's my
everybody that
understanding,
drives their
told
kid
that
and
there was
picks
a
them up
study
from school
done
is a
or a
villain.
plan that was proposed,
Which I
that
very much
included
disagreed
both
with when I was a kid that
and,
lived far away from the school I went to, but
Roosevelt
it sucks. It
plan
is.
for
It's a
parking, the parking issue.
It's a whole
And
thing.
It's my
but,
understanding that
And for anyone that's new to the city in the
I was
comments, like
told one
just give it
number,
another
but I
2
wanna say
weeks when the
over
schools get out
$500,000
and
to have this
all
done.
the traffic just magically
north of
disappears.
that,
The city of
but,
Worcester is empty
I
all
don't
summer
understand how you
long,
get
and
money
it's
to
actually
do
heavenly
study,
to get
but
around.
you don't
And
have
then
really
they start
great.
construction.
Genuinely
It's
is.
actually creating some sort of a solution, even if it's temporary. And quite frankly, Madam Chair, there is precedence for the school department to focus on doing
I used to live
parking
over
in
on
their
Vernon
own
Hill,
schools.
and the amount of times I would be
May
stuck
Street
behind
School
somebody
was having
that
the
was
same
driving
type of a
slow or
traffic
just
problem, et
not paying
cetera,
attention,
I
and then watch
recommended,
them
I think
turn
I
into
was
Holy
on,
Cross just was
Public
infuriating.
Works, or I might have been on traffic and parking.
it's like
but
it's
I
crazy too
recommended that
because
what they
people
do
drive
is
so
they
terribly around the
use part
schools
of their front
because
lawn, which wasn't
they're only
great
paying
shape
attention to
anyway,
like trying to
and
find their
have that as
kid.
extra parking, which
It's
they
so
did. So there's
dangerous. The
precedence.
buses
There's
especially on
precedent for them to
Burncoat.
do
Like they
that.
park right on
I
Burncoat,
recall
Yeah.
distinctly.
and then they just dive
talking
out
about,
to
well,
try and get
buy
out
it-
into
if you
traffic.
buy
It's
this
like
land for them,
it's wild.
they'll be able to fix the problem. It's their land now.
We got
It's
this
under their
nasty Y
purview.
thing up over here next to Worcester
When I
State
called
that
Mr.
it's
Allen
like two
about a year and
roads
a half
condensing
ago to
into
find
one.
out why
It
nothing
must
had been
get
done,
an
and we
accident every 2
continue to
weeks.
persist
Yeah.
with
I
the
don't
safety
see him as
issue
much, but
with
it's
all this
nasty at
traffic.
times.
I was told, well,
Where May and
this is gonna
Chandler
have
split.
$2 million
Yeah.
to fix this. I'd like to see that plan. I'd like to see what they're spending $2 million on. Because I don't think it's that much money to do it in a way
Oh my
that
God,
will
Flag
enable
Street
them.
is
It
so
might be,
bad.
grandiose, but I don't think we need all
Authority
of
is
that.
pretty
And
terrible
as
too,
my
Yeah.
even
colleague
The
with
problem
said,
with-
the space
why
for
can't they
people to
just
pull over
grade
to the
it down
side.
and have a couple
The
of
problem with
different
Flag
steps
is that its
and
parents
use
live parking
gravel?
under signs that say
A
like
lot of
no
places
parking.
do that.
Like
And
any-
100. That's the same issue at Burncoat in Burncoat Middle
by
too.
not
Absolutely,
doing
but they
anything,
don't. There's no.
negligent.
And
There's
that's the part that
no.
that's
the
why Kate
children,
is doing this where
negligent
it's
to
on
the
the
community.
schools. What it's really
And
on
I
is
think
her at
that
public
something
safety
needs to be
getting the
done.
police
And I
department
think
to
the
go
school
and
department
drop a
needs to
hook
own
and
it.
start towing
We
cars full of
we
kids
gave
on their way
our
home from
budget,
school.
this year
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
increased, what was it, 47, 45,
Yeah, because
47
honestly,
dollars
there's no.
our
There's
revenues,
currently no better
and
way
our
for the
our
school
debt,
to
the school
handle
department
it. Like they don't
we
have
almost said
authority
was
over.
51
Like you
million.
can't keep the kid. Like what are you gonna do? Like not
So
let the kids
we're
out? Like
giving more.
You can't write
and
tickets
we
from the
brought
school
in a new
department.
Exactly.
The increase for the school department was higher.
Yeah,
So
make
I
guys
think
like
we're
the
giving
janitors
our
like Jimmy
fair
Cash
share,
go out and have to write
but to
people
turn
tickets.
around and
Oh
say, well,
yeah,
the
I would
school-
actually be in
the
support of
city is
that.
responsible when we gave them the
Somebody
proper
just bells his
Custodians.
ass.
is wrong, and it needs to be addressed, and the finger pointing has to stop.
I don't know if we've ever asked. Epic, where were you when you took this epic
Councilman
photo?
Nguyen?
Because I've never met you with a
Sure.
mustache.
I would just like to provide some clarification, just because we did have a subcommittee, a joint committee with the
Cool jacket too.
education department. I mean, the education subcommittee and the school committee last night. And so one of the things that, we
Literally,
got out
finger
of it
pointing.
was that
That was like
Roosevelt
her
with the changes would be 3.5.
crinkly little finger pointing
would
everywhere.
also be 3.5K. Yearly, their capital budget, their whole entire capital budget is 3.5K. And so when we think about their capital budget ability to fix things, this is where it kind of is stunted. They only have, and this is what I got from the committee last.
I'm going to try to
last night, and I
recreate
did
that
ask
incredible
them to
Epic
send
Stratton photo
their
with my emergency
to the council
sombrero here.
afterwards. From what I gathered, for the
So
last
go over the
15
headphones.
years, their capital budget formula of
Hold
3.5K
up.
has been
We're going
stagnant.
into full screen.
And so, I think this is something that we should all commit to.
Unfortunately, my mirrored sunglasses are in another room, but that's
to support
maybe
with
next week.
increasing
We'll
the
get that
capital
going.
budget.
The emergency.
So that was one of my chairman's order, but just to clarify.
You don't have an emergency oversized sombrero?
I can't say I do.
Wow, $1 at
City manager,
IKEA.
followed by
It's the cheapest thing at
Councilor
IKEA.
Through the chair to the council, I just want to clarify something, because if you currently look at your budget books and the budget document, it is not 3.5, it's $4 million. 500,000 of that, the school chooses to use that to buy equipment, but it's $4 million. on an annual
Everybody has
basis
one of
that
these
we
cool
give
hats
to
but
this
me.
Kathleen is seething that two just mathed
Councilor
her.
Bergman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think all of us would agree it's not necessarily productive to say whose responsibility, who's dropped the ball on this, but I also don't think it's productive to focus on an issue that we probably have little
Ooh,
control over. In the
Kathleen's
sense that
looking
it's not
pissed,
necessarily our responsibility. So
muttering
through the
something to
chair-
herself.
Through the chair to the city manager, when I'm looking at the order regarding a timeline, am I correct or not that when
Or she's
property
struggling
is
to
given
do
the
math.
school department, it's left to the school department to finish the project? In other words, we gave them the land, it's your responsibility to finish the park. Am I correct or wrong about that? Because I certainly would stand to be corrected.
Through the chair to the city council. The agreement was that the city would purchase and the school will take the responsibility.
So if I may, through the chair, city manager, there really is no timeline for us to be doing anything. This is something that the school committee has to vote on finishing and find the funds to do. And I'm certainly mindful of the public safety component of this. I'm not ignoring it. I don't know how
I was
we
really
ignore
hoping
that,
for a quick
but
meeting
for
tonight, and I was
practical
going to work on my
purposes,
website.
There are
Yeah.
separate budgets and there are overlapping budgets.
Now I'm
but
going to
this,
smoke
through
out
the
an
chair of the city
inordinate amount of
manager,
cannabis and fall asleep.
was given, property was given to the school department to finish.
Probably watch some K
And I,
dramas and
for
fall
one,
asleep.
don't think it's appropriate
Plus weed.
for us to be, trying to find the timeline that we not responsible to come up.
Probably watch some weed dramas in Duque.
Councilor King.
Envious of you.
Chair. Very clearly.
I watched one of my favorite streamers play through the new Star Wars game.
I'll
So now
begin by saying,
I kind of want to buy it, but
last night in the education committee where I filled in for Councilor Toomey, we had.
Should I stream some video games on our channel?
I would totally back you up if you didn't want to do just like
body continues to put his head in the sand and say
solo runs.
3 years later,
What would people want to watch me play?
let us know. I don't think that's.
I've been working through a link to the past on
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, could figure a way to mirror that.
Issues
There we go.
pedestrian safety.
Any new game people would watch you play.
Maybe
I
should
play
get Tears of
Fortnite
the
all the
Kingdom.
time. I mean, I would love to stream
Stop
Fortnite
it.
here. Yeah.
You're twisting my leg.
we can do that.
Twist
No,
my arm.
tons of Fortnite.
It's a nice thing to talk about.
I'm
What,
impressed.
what system are you playing? I know it's cross-platform, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually play on the Switch though. I
And
stick
based
with
on the
Nintendo with almost everything.
discussion we had last night,
I haven't really
Jason
kept up with
Wolf's
consoles, and the
Jennifer
Switch
Mora,
been pretty decent for it.
the superintendent and
Like
folks,
just some Mario
we
Party.
did.
it's
We
clear
did. We
on the
did
agenda.
Jackbox
It's been brought up
games
repeatedly,
years ago, and it was so
Yeah.
fun. We should definitely do
Russell,
that.
by Councilor Toomey,
Jackbox
because
is
it's
awesome.
relevant.
I love
If we
I love
think
TKO
we're
so much. I
giving
have so many
people, we gave them
TKO
money, we
shirts.
gave
I
them
always
money,
buy a
and
TKO shirt.
I have
have
one.
real-life consequences over
We
this.
made
just-
Travis wear
I
one.
recommend that this
I
body
just
move this
resaw it.
matter forward. And I'll also mention,
When the club opens up,
I know
I
myself,
will
I know
absolutely
Councilor
wear it to the
Rose,
club
sometime
one
ago
There you go.
filed
Hell
some
yeah.
orders. I filed orders relative to Flag Street and other schools, and including.
Yeah, I was thinking
those
about playing Tears of the Kingdom,
around,
maybe
what the
I'm not familiar with
police
that one.
the new Zelda game.
Oh,
rotations were in the morning.
It's good. Have you been
Yeah.
playing it?
I'm not sure if we
No, I didn't finish. I haven't finished Breath of the Wild yet, so
similar,
I've been. I'm
related
gonna do
to,
that.
some of the schools in his district.
Yeah, I've been
mine was
watching
citywide.
my husband play
And, you know, I
uh,
think
Tears of the
that
Kingdom.
we cannot turn a blind eye to
It's really
this.
good.
I think we should move this forward. And
Yeah, all my TKO shirts are vulgar.
we have a committee
yeah, mine's
that's
pretty.
chaired by Councilor Nguyen, who's perfectly suited to take up this matter, regardless of who.
It's very hard to
responsibility.
explain, but
That's what
they're
that committee's
absolutely
created
fucking
for.
vulgar.
Let's use it, Madam Chair. Let's use that committee.
Like banned from Twitch vulgar or just
Yeah,
vulgar?
yeah,
Councilor
yeah,
Russell.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what
With
the.
all due respect to my friend and colleague on the other side of the room. This
Not
counselor
hateful.
has not had his head
No,
in the
no,
sand.
no. Just
I haven't
yeah.
had my head in the sand in the 11 years that I've represented the people of this district. And don't you ever, through you, Madam Chairman, don't you ever say that I have my head in the sand.
Information,
Or
Madam
any
Chair.
member of this council has
Chair.
their head in the sand.
Madam Chair, point of order.
You do have your head in the
Respond to
sand.
that. Again, I gave you quite kudos for your advocacy. What was said was, this is the responsibility of the school. We gave them money. It's on them. All I'm saying is that your continued advocacy, Councilor Toomey's continued advocacy, and others continue to bring this forward, as have I. And we cannot, now repeat it, we, all of us as a council can't have our hands in on our eyes and say, we can't do that, including myself. If we do that, if we kick this out of the way and we say, it's on them, let us know, we as a body will be doing that, or we'll be spinning our wheels. Let's have accountability. Let's put it in the right committee. This is not an attack on the representation of District 3. I commend the representation of District 3 councilor on this matter. It's been repeated and it's been consistent. So do not misconstrue. It's not how it was intended.
Get your head out of the sand.
That's how it
Don't
was achieved,
misconstrue me.
not how it was intended. Thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Councilor Russell.
the reason, for the council to say that we need to go to that committee or we need to go to the school committee, I stood at that podium probably about 6 or 8 months ago.
I don't
at a
recognize
school
the
committee
person, but
meeting.
shout out
The
to the
only time
person
I've
that
ever
ordered a
been
Nico
since
shirt.
I've been a counselor at a
You
school
rule.
Oh hell yeah!
I went and I talked and I talked.
We're doing
And I talked
big numbers
about
tonight.
that and about the windows
Yeah.
for the kids
Thank
in
you,
East
y'all.
Middle School that have plastic sheets of plastic hanging from their windows, where the state has found money for it, but we're still not making a decision on the school side about getting those windows done. I came to that podium in the school committee meeting and asked them about it. I begged them for their support on the item. I went to the joint committee meeting the last time it met a few months ago, and I joined.
I'm not
them,
doxing
and I
nobody.
tried
I
to
literally, that's
advocate
what I said,
for
Mo.
it. But you know what? They can't. Mr. Manager, through you, Madam Chair, has there ever been a request for more money for Roosevelt School to deal with this since you've been the city manager? Have they asked you, we need $500,000, we need $2 million, whatever, have they ever asked you for a request?
Batista's gonna be like, nobody ever told me fucking
to address
nothing.
this issue?
I never even heard of the Worcester Public Schools.
Through the chair to the council, know that no requests have come my way.
Thank you.
That's bullshit.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, he's lying. He's a
I'm
liar.
in the business.
He
of
loves to
bringing
lie
people
about
together.
school budget
That's how
stuff.
I made my living in the real estate business. I don't.
Oh yes, Beck. Yes.
I don't take
Hell
my
yes.
conversations lightly.
This is
I
the this is
spent
the
my
kind of
life bringing
cinematography I
people
like.
together.
Get
But
right
they
in on those
can't
fucking
just say,
the
you know,
blood vessels
push things
popping out of
off.
his forehead.
They gotta deal with this issue.
George
And it
needs a
begins
cigarette,
with
too.
simple things like getting 2 lanes out of Roosevelt, like utilizing some of the land, whether they're parking on grass or they're parking on unfinished lots or renting a space across the street. It takes leadership on the school side. I'm not knocking the school committee members, but I've invited the superintendent.
Is
The
he gonna cry?
superintendent's assistant
You
called
might.
me when she was going
George is
around
very
with the
sensitive.
counselors.
Yeah.
They wanted to meet with me.
He only
I said,
punches
"Sure,
people
I'll
with
have a
those rings when
conversation with
necessary.
Tom
He doesn't
Marsh
want to have to hurt
anytime you
anybody.
want." I'm still waiting for that appointment. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So Councilor Toomey?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
What about the other schools
I
in your
think, to be
district that
honest
have
with you,
horrible,
there's no way that we can
horrible
come
ways
timeline.
to
They're not
drive
on
out
his.
of them?
They're not on his ride home.
Like,
from
what's that
work.
one that's behind
You heard the city
behind
manager
Walmart? The
state
heck is that
The
street?
agreement was that we would purchase the land.
The one that goes along the backside
It
of
is up
Walmart
to
on the other
Oh,
side
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
river.
146.
If they want us
No,
to
no,
No,
no.
the opposite of that.
On the other side.
Oh, other side.
that falls under public works.
I don't know any street names, to be
Just
honest
like
with
the
you.
school is being
I
built.
lived here
That's
my whole life.
overseen by public
Just so many.
works.
I don't even
This is
sometimes know
Google
the
Maps
difference
to the
between
rescue.
Chandler
This is
Street and
all
Highland
about
Street.
building maintenance and all of those other things. They can do it. They're choosing not to.
Greenwood Street,
And I think this
the
is really important.
Quinsigamond
It needs
Elementary
to get
School.
fixed, but I think there needs to be a coming of the
If
mind
there is
between
somebody
perhaps the superintendent
parked
and
There needs to
or
be a coming of the
or
mind.
at a light,
and
even
I really
like
believe
I was
that
at
a
the
solution
exit
can
for
be
Stebbins
had,
Street,
but
which is
as-
right
as
next
my
to it,
colleague said,
and
there are other
I
things
was
that we can do,
blocking
too, and it's several years ago I
the
suggested that they
buses from
contact
getting
people,
out onto
that
the
own the
main
plaza.
road from the
And that
side
they-
road.
there's a ton of
That's how
parking spots right up
disastrous
near the
their
street that
exiting
aren't
of that
being
parking
used
lot
day in
is.
and day out. We certainly could walk the children.
It's all bad. We
across the
should shut
street
down the
over
public
next
schools, I
street
think.
And walk them over to their parents
I
and not
I
have
agree
them
with
back
everybody
walk
that's a Republican.
the
We should
street
shut down the
and not
schools.
create that
Yeah.
safety hazard.
Charter
it would
schools
balance
might
the
be a
books
problem.
for
There are things
the
that could be
ballpark.
done,
Yeah, for sure.
but I think that we've come to this
Use them as
ridiculous
parking lots for
point
the ballpark.
where right now, as I said,
Shuttle
a year
buses.
and a half ago or so, I was told, no, it's the city's responsibility and it's
Yeah,
going to
clench your
cost $2
pearls.
million. Well, what does the plan even look like? No one's communicated with us at all, other than that.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm sorry, I would just.
She doesn't know what to do.
Next shirt idea is
So
things get
we have an
spicy after
order on the
9:30.
table. Should we vote on that order? And then, or Councilor Nguyen?
Thank you,
Stay
Madam
Possums.
Chair.
I was just thinking
I
that
think
this is all
my
just the layup
before,
to start
Councilor
pushing Maureen
King,
Benenda as the only thing
allows,
that
I
can
would
save
like
the
to do a
public
friendly
schools
amendment
by being on the
to
school
request
committee
the
with
city
her
manager
plan to
work
pave
with the
over every lawn
superintendent. I feel
owned
like
by
this
the
is
city of
something
Worcester.
that really needs collaboration. And that's kind of what we talked about in last night's meeting. And I think the more that we build that sort of collaboration, the better. As some folks mentioned, we can't just do a report out of thin air. I think it needs to be in conjunction with school committee. We also can't dictate school committee on how they want to use their budget. And so I think the best way to do it is for the city manager to work with the superintendent.
Madam Chair, I accept that friendly amendment. That was the intention of the order. Thank you. I accept that friendly amendment.
Okay, so we'll take this item and send it to the city manager with the friendly amendment. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, so be it. Thank you. Okay, 11A, refer to Economic Development Committee. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, so be it. 12A through C, accept and adopt. All in favor say aye.
Nico,
Those
buddy,
opposed, so
come
be
on,
it.
let her know.
12D to 12F.
Were you all able to
accept.
hear
All
my
in
husband
favor say
laughing
aye.
just
Those
now?
opposed,
I
so
did a
be it.
little bit, yeah.
13A to
Okay, yeah. Apparently
13C,
something funny
accept
happened
and
in game.
adopt. All in favor say
Because
aye.
it's
Those
D&D.
opposed, so be it. 13D to 13M, accept. All in
And
favor
they
say
put
I'll
up
aye.
find
the
out around
So
11
be it.
o'clock when they finish
And
playing.
14A,
they put
ordain
up the
roll
D&D
call
movie
vote.
on
Bergman.
Paramount Plus.
What's that,
I might
GA?
I might watch that fucking thing every day.
Roll call.
That's pretty good.
I
It's
love
pretty
it.
good for
Council
it.
Rose.
It really
Council Russell.
captures
Council
the
Toomey.
like
Petty.
the
I'm sorry,
tone
Mayor
of
President, I think
actually
Councilor,
playing D&D.
Madam Vice Chair
Yep.
Caloria.
Not like this
Yes.
like idealized
Okay,
version
now
of
I'm gonna
what
make a
it might
motion
No.
to
be.
adjourn
Yeah,
this part of the meeting,
Maddie
but a
Maddie
motion
T said
to
it perfectly.
reconvene
Perfectly
into
encapsulates
finance.
that every party is full of
Okay,
morons.
so we're in the finance meeting now.
To bumble
Thank
their,
you.
bumble their
Okay,
way
so
through
thank you
everything
for
until
staying with
they
us.
get it
Our
right at
last
the end.
item of the night is 7.
Madam Chair, I think Cable Services needs a couple of minutes to go into finance. Cable Services needs a couple of minutes to switch into finance.
Madam Chair, point of order.
What's happening?
I think they
Water,
ended
I'd
the
like to
meeting.
hold the capital budget also, because that was, I had many questions, mostly because it had school
But they
department money,
switched
none of
into
it
the
was
finance meeting.
allocated in there, so I want to hold that part of the budget until next week. The
Okay.
capital, the capital's
Yep,
on our agenda.
yep. Thank you.
I think so. They didn't take a vote. They didn't do roll call for ending the meeting.
No.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the innovation and technology budget.
Oh, we're not in session.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun there.
We're waiting for cable services, just, okay.
This is fucking insane.
Can we do
I'm leaving this up.
a smooth zoom
Are we
in
gonna
on George
follow
Russell again?
over? Are we gonna follow over
I
to
mean,
the budget stuff?
we can
or-
hang out and talk for a few minutes, but I mean, it's probably going to go for another
Oh.
hour.
They're leaving this up on Facebook. Yeah, I don't need to. I'm good with this.
We'll
Y'all good with
reconvene
this?
now. Number 7, budget
Yeah.
hearings, innovation.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be just the budget hearings where Tim McGrthy's going to sit there and say, "No, I can't tell you where the money is or where it goes." That's
It's a secret.
If it's not on this list, you can't have access to it.
Oh, and also you get to see this and you get to say yes or no to it. And if you say no to it, it happens anyway at the end of
Yeah.
the month.
Because the lawyer will say that we have to.
Yeah, because we can't even do line item vetoes. We have to say yes or no to the entire budget for a department.
Well, man,
So
what a
what was
great
actually accomplished tonight?
Nothing.
little
was
to nothing. I mean, we accomplished a lot. We had a lot of great conversations about
hats,
certain things like hats. we sold some shirts.
Guns N' Roses at Fenway Park.
Yeah, we talked about how
That'll never happen in Worcester.
Couldn't be us. Great brainstorming. Talked about D&D. I think all in all,
We're gonna get a report on the parks, on Polar Park.
Yes.
About how shitty it is for actually making its money back.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you're right. That was
Hey,
that
they're
was what
paying
was
their
good
bills.
tonight.
They're paying their bills.
This year. This year.
This year. Yeah. Very, very interesting wording on that one.
Well, it's for a hot ladies' night out at the ballpark or whatever events they're throwing.
Friends with Benefits night, a celebration of the movie Friends with Benefits, correct? I think, yeah. George freaked out. George lost his fucking cool. He had a big baby meltdown, and
Over something he wasn't being accused of.
yeah, he was wah walrus. So yeah, Christian ethered his ass. It was Eric had a great call in. Great job, Eric.
Yeah.
All in all, just a
solid night.
Yeah, he went back and forth a bunch of times on a hold. It was all great, pretty great. So that was a great question. So we nailed it. We did a gret job. Everybody here
Yeah.
did a great job. We all decided that we're gonna play Fortnite on Twitch, and any other games that people can think of.
Jackbox.
But we're gonna get a Jackbox stream going. Yeah, I want to find a game and just play the whole thing on Twitch and let's continue a stream. Let's do that. And again, if anybody needs me to make a commercial for their small business, then hit me up. I'll charge you a couple $100 or something. I don't know. Who cares? I'm just bored.
I don't have a banner for that, but Brian,
No, but do it.
Find
Yeah.
Brian. You know where to find him.
Yeah, make sure you are subscribed to Bill Shaner Substack, even though he couldn't be bothered to be here tonight. BillShaner.substack.com. Really incredible work going on over there. The Worcester Sucks Power Hour, a semi-weekly podcast where we talk about things in a little different type of detail than we do on here. You should follow that, subscribe to all of his stuff so that he can continue bailing on us when we need him.
When cooler people ask him to hang out.
Nah, go buy High Command's record. They're cool dudes too. We love them. Come
Support
on
the
out.
comic book.
Yes, absolutely. June 10th, Rumble at Ralphie's, a full day event, Top Dog Titan hot dog eating contest to support the Worcester County Food Bank through the Worcester Hot Dog Safari wrestling show. Wrestling Open presents Hot Dog and a Handshake at 3 p.m., 8 p.m. Big old punk show. Zorn coming up from Philly. Silver Dagger is supposed to be a really sick band too. So check that out. All the information and tickets are available at Ralph's Rock Diner. Follow them on Instagram. Get more details there. You make sure you follow us on Instagram, WCT3000. You need to follow us to get all our updates, especially about new shirts that we make at WCT3K.storeenvy.com. We're essentially rolling in sales right now, so we're going to put up the Antifa shirt soon. If people buy all our other shirts, and we'll put up Antifa as well. Listen to my podcast, Parts Unknown, wrestling podcast. We love wrestling, even though I'm not currently watching the biggest wrestling company in the world and maybe never will ever again. Listen to the podcast, find out all about that. I'm never watching WWE ever again. Speaking of wrestling, rest in peace, Owen Hart. This is the 24th anniversary of his death. One of the greatest of all time. We miss him. We miss the Rocket. So we did an episode about that last year. Go back in the archives to find that. Yenni, Brendan, anything to plug?
There's actually a public safety committee meeting on Thursday. And the rats issue is going to be at it. Why the rats are going to the public safety meeting, I'm not sure.
Amazing.
But the community crisis model is getting an update. There's a update on the disaster relief fund that Attell is really pushing for, and a couple of things from the fire department. Seems like it's going to be basically a useless meeting that you can basically just read the stuff that's on the attachments of the agenda.
Hell yeah. Fantastic. Woot Nanny's got a bunch of shows coming up, guys. I just wanted to, before I forget, June 1st, we have Ryan O'Flanagan at the White Room. He's very funny as a Comedy Central half hour from a few years ago. He was on New Girl. He's been in a bunch of TV shows, and he's in a sketch group called Dead Kevin that we love. We are friends with these guys. They're amazing. He's very funny. Come check this show out. We're selling tickets pretty quick, but there's plenty available. June 4th, we're back at Wooden Bar for Hijack Comedy, our second of these shows. Doors open at 6. There's plenty of time to get food before the show. The menu last time was unbelievable. They did a lot of cool special stuff that they don't normally do. So come to that show. It's very, very fun. And I mean, sometimes we are, but I wouldn't say exclusively that we're talking about gay, but we're not talking about gay.
TravisDuda.com. It's a
Yeah.
perfect segue. Like,
Perfect.
there's cool stuff there. Yeah. I put up some art. Go check it out.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in so much. We love hanging out with you guys. Thank you for Johanna. Thank you so much. That's really amazing.
Yeah,
donate to Johanna's campaign. We love her. We can't wait for her to be on the council. So
Hey, Brian, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt your departure.
no.
I just dropped in the private chat. If you can throw it in the comments. Tracy Novik just threw up a really good thread about the council's stupid rantings on parking because it's her subcommittee. Might be worth just forwarding that link along so people can get up to speed to the people who actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't see it in the private chat. If you want to throw it up there again.
Oh, there it is.
You got it, bro?
Yes. Let me throw this up here. Take a moment to go through that. That's fantastic. I'm going to read that as soon as we get offline as well. Tracy's the best. Really excited for her to be Brendan State Senator coming up.
Yep, we're going to be running it's Tracy Novik to replace Ann Goby for those of us stuck in the Gobi Desert. So get that rumor moving.
We go. All right, we will. We get a meeting next week. I think we'll post it on Facebook on our Instagram.
Pretty sure there's a meeting next week
There
as
is.
that I'm putting an item on it.
Yeah. Oh, then yes, definitely. Then good to know. So make sure you tune in for that. Follow us on
I'll be there in person.
Subscribe to us here on Twitch because you get a notification when we go live, so you don't even have to worry about keeping track of meetings. We'll tell you.
You could accidentally watch us, like the people that hate Mr. Wootenanny.
Yeah. All our fans. Hey, shout out to all my fans in the neighborhood: Carrie, Colleen, Kathy, everybody that hates my guts and wants me dead. Come at me. I got a big dog now. We will see you next Tuesday, everybody. We love you. Have a wonderful night. Red balls forever. Bye.